The famed Harleen Quinzel. From her dysfunctional origins to her doctorate studies to meeting Mr. J himself and beyond, her life is pretty unbelievable, which is why we've got to document all of it right here. Welcome back to Channel Frederator. Today we're taking a look at the life of Harley Quinn. Make sure you like the video if you liked it and subscribe for more like this. Alright, no more joking around. Let's get right into it. Early life. Harleen Quinzel grew up in a dysfunctional family. Her mother, Sharon Quinzel, struggled with alcoholism, while her father, Nick Quinzel, was a criminal and gambling addict, frequently entangled with the mob. Her grandparents, who initially were close, gradually grew to despise each other. Harleen also had a younger brother named Barry, who tragically died during his teenage years. Despite being generally normal, Harleen exhibited mental instability. This first appeared as an obsession with actor Frankie Muniz, whom she planned to kidnap and deceive about birth control to have a child with. After his family obtained a restraining order, which she disregarded, Harleen was ultimately sent to juvenile detention. When Harley graduated from high school as valedictorian, she used her speech to angrily denounce the entire school administration for not helping her and for ogling her. She then went off to college to become a psychiatrist, and her dream was to win the Olympic championship of gymnastics. She nearly succeeded, but her father insisted that she take a dive so that he could win a long-shot bet to clear his gambling debts. Harleen eventually relented and failed on purpose, but snapped when her father joked that there would never be a woman president, her dream. So Harleen viciously assaulted her father in front of everyone. The acrobatic skills she gained as a gymnast served her later in her life of crime. Arkham to the present. Upon completing her university education, she embarked on a career as a psychiatrist and secured a position at Arkham Asylum, where her primary responsibility was to attend to the Joker. Initially, she believed her recruitment was as a result of her extensive research, including her dissertation and thesis on the Joker's pathology, which she presumed made her uniquely suited for the role. However, Commissioner Gordon later revealed that her hiring was primarily due to the Joker's tumultuous history with previous psychiatrists, coupled with her affordability, dismissing her as merely cheap and possessing a pulse and a skirt. Her initial assessment involved coaxing the Joker into divulging the location of a bomb. En route to his cell, she bore witness to Poison Ivy's failed escape attempt, witnessing her mistreatment by the guards and subsequent sedation. Disturbed by the ordeal, she approached Poison Ivy's cell to extend an apology, only to be met with hostility as Poison Ivy spat at the glass and bluntly instructed her to fuck off, narc. Engaging with the Joker, Harleen discovered that he was aware of her identity and had perused her thesis, albeit dismissing it as akin to fanfiction. Determined to establish rapport, Harleen disregarded protocol, requesting access to his cell, where he alternately charmed and threatened her. Despite showcasing her acrobatic skills to evade his advances, earning begrudging admiration from the Joker, she faced reprimand from James Gordon and Harvey Dent for endangering herself. Given a second opportunity to extract information from the Joker after Batman's failed attempts, Harleen gleaned insights from Poison Ivy, who inadvertently hinted at the Joker's troubled childhood. Leveraging this knowledge, Harleen prodded the Joker into discussing his family history, eliciting rare emotional responses from him. Seizing the moment, she persuaded him to divulge the bomb's location. Expressing gratitude for her assistance, Harleen revisited Poison Ivy, presenting her with a flower as a token of appreciation. However, the Joker's apparent confession proved to be a deception. He feigned lowering his guard to mislead the heroes into searching the wrong location. Meanwhile, he orchestrated an explosion in the cafeteria, facilitating his escape with Harley as a shield. Despite her presence, Harvey Dent ordered them both to be shot, but Poison Ivy intervened, deflecting the bullet and ensnaring the Joker in vines. Initially, he misunderstood her actions as a gesture of loyalty to him. Questioning Ivy's motives for saving her, Harleen received an unexpected response. Ivy confessed that nobody had ever bestowed a gift upon her, especially not a plant. Moved by Ivy's vulnerability, Harleen extended her hand in assistance. When Dent and the Arkham guards closed in, Ivy surrendered to spare further bloodshed, ensuring both her and the Joker's recapture without unnecessary violence. Afterward, Ivy proposed that Harley become her new therapist, a proposition she readily accepted. However, when Dent attempted to reconcile by offering Harley a promotion, she vehemently rejected his no. She rejected his peace offering, expressing her disdain with a defiant "fuck off, Two-Face." As Harleen's tenure at Arkham continued, her bond with Ivy blossomed, with Harley becoming the sole person capable of penetrating Ivy's emotional barriers and aiding her in resolving her issues. On Valentine's Day, Harleen visited Ivy bearing a cart of pilfered chocolate milk and recounted the plot of Shrek 2, providing Ivy with an unexpected source of joy on the holiday. Their friendship endured despite Harley's deepening involvement with the Joker until his eventual escape from Arkham. Manipulating her vulnerabilities, the Joker persuaded Harley to leap into a vat of acid, thus transforming her into his devoted sidekick, Harley Quinn. Throughout their tumultuous relationship, they frequently received accolades as best couple at the annual Villy Awards, although the Joker consistently marginalized Harley, denying her the opportunity to join him on stage or deliver acceptance speeches. On one such occasion, he even attended the awards with his lackey Dean instead of Harley. Season 1, Til Death Do Us Part. Harley Quinn endeavored to plunder a group of affluent yachters, yet they remained unperturbed until the Joker's arrival instilled terror. Collaborating, they repelled the yachters while Harley implored the Joker to elevate her to full partnership within the Legion of Doom. Despite her pleas, the Joker evaded and redirected until Batman's intervention diverted their focus. Seizing the opportunity, the Joker escaped in a single-man submarine, abandoning Harley to engage Batman. Assuring her of a swift rescue from Arkham Asylum before breakfast, he submerged into the harbor as Batman apprehended Harley. In custody, Harley steadfastly refused to divulge information about the psychotic clown who treats you like garbage, as Batman labeled him. However, Harley adamantly professed their genuine love, recounting the Joker's recent proposal with a diamond ring. Commissioner Gordon's sentencing of life imprisonment elicited laughter from Harley, convinced she wouldn't spend a single night behind bars. Despite 6 months passing, she remained incarcerated, with Poison Ivy asserting the Joker's indifference to her plight. 3 months later, Harley rationalized the relationship, finding excitement and challenge amidst the Joker's chaos, likening the vat of chemicals to a vat of freedom sauce, attributing her identity to his influence. 3 months later, the entire prison population insisted the Joker would not come for her, but Harley remained steadfast in her belief until Poison Ivy orchestrated an escape against her will. Following her release, Harley sought an immediate reunion with the Joker, but Ivy intervened, prompting Harley to self-diagnose. Confronted by a hallucination of Dr. Quinzel, Harley faced a hypothetical scenario involving a patient fixated on a violent psychopath. She swiftly diagnosed the patient with classic abusive codependency, realizing she was diagnosing herself and the need to sever ties with the Joker. Upon announcing their escape plan, the Joker justified leaving her behind in Arkham as a protective measure against the heightened police scrutiny. He suggested their love might overcome even the threat of death, enticing Harley back, much to Ivy's disgust. Later, the Joker fixated on the Riddler, prompting Harley's failed assassination attempt and subsequent capture alongside Batman. Faced with the Riddler's ultimatum, the Joker made a surprising choice, opting to spare Batman to thwart the Riddler's satisfaction, allowing Harley to be subjected to a deadly plunge into acid. Harley tumbles into the pool, and with Dr. Quinzel's guidance, she experiences a revelation about the Joker. She discerns that his supposed proposal was a ruse. The diamond ring was actually a grenade ring strategically deployed to compel Batman to intervene and rescue her. The Joker's declaration of Til Death Do Us Part was not a pledge of commitment, but an assumption of her demise. Harley awakens to the realization that the Joker's affections are solely towards Batman, not her, as Poison Ivy pulls her from the acid. Ivy discloses that the substance was merely margarita mix, part of a scheme orchestrated by the Riddler to demonstrate to Harley the Joker's true intentions. In response, Harley resolves to sever ties with the Joker definitively and pursue her own criminal endeavors. She embarks on a mission to kidnap the mayor and coerce him into naming a highway after her. After reinventing her appearance, Harley confronts the Joker in his lair, rebuffing his attempts at reconciliation. With their relationship irreparably shattered, the Joker orders his henchmen to eliminate her, sparking a fierce confrontation. Harley emerges victorious, decimating his stronghold and trapping the Joker beneath the wreckage. Electing to spare him, Harley relishes the prospect of assuming control over the city, eager to witness his reaction as she takes charge. A high bar. While watching Howie Mandel's TV show, Harley witnessed the Joker's hostile takeover, strapping a bomb to Howie's chest and proclaiming his role in ending their relationship. Enraged by his callousness, Harley smashed the flat-screen TV with a bat. Despite Ivy's attempts to dissuade her, Harley remained determined to demonstrate her indifference to the Joker and the Legion of Doom. Declaring her intent to defy their expectations, she resolved to crash the party at the Gotham Mint and confront the Joker and his cohorts in person. At the party, Harley found herself surprised to learn that it was actually a bar mitzvah for Joshua Cobblepot, the Penguin's nephew. Despite the misunderstanding, Harley insisted on staying to make an impression on Bane, Scarecrow, and Two-Face, all in attendance. Initially, she engaged in friendly banter with them and attempted to recruit them for a plan, until the Joker's arrival disrupted the atmosphere, prompting Harley's departure. Enraged by the encounter, Harley resolved to rob the Gotham Mint to showcase her worth to the Legion of Doom, who had confidently rented out their atrium for the bar mitzvah. Disregarding Poison Ivy's counsel, Harley proceeded with the heist, dispatching several guards within the atrium. To her dismay, she realized that they were actually members of Gotham Chuckle Hut's finest improvisers, a comedy troupe whom she inadvertently assaulted. Meanwhile, Joshua was meant to navigate through them to access a vault full of Joshua bucks for his celebration, only to find Harley there instead. The Joker found amusement in the chaos as the Penguin subdued Harley and restrained her. Offering his umbrella to his nephew to eliminate Harley, the Penguin's plan was thwarted when Harley managed to undermine Joshua's confidence with her taunts. Overwhelmed by embarrassment, Joshua relinquished the weapon and retreated to his mother. As the Penguin prepared to execute Harley himself, Poison Ivy intervened with Kite Man, empowering Harley to break free and prepare for combat. The Joker proposed sparing her life if she admitted dependency on him, but Harley defiantly refused, leading to a confrontation. While Poison Ivy engaged Two-Face, Harley confronted Scarecrow and Kite Man reluctantly confronted Bane. Kite Man was swiftly overwhelmed, and although Harley and Poison Ivy initially held their ground, they eventually found themselves outnumbered by Penguin, Two-Face, and Scarecrow. Seizing the moment, Harley capitalized on the Joker's frustration with Bane, sowing seeds of doubt among their ranks by questioning their allegiance to a tyrant who coerced rather than led. With their ranks divided, the Joker prepared to eliminate Harley, only for Ivy to intervene with her botanical prowess. As victory seemed within reach, the Joker's contractor intervened, prompting his hasty retreat. In the aftermath, Harley resolved to seek validation through membership in the Legion of Doom. So you need a crew. Harley's attempt to pilfer a Russian nuke alone ended in failure, as the Joker and his henchmen thwarted her efforts. This setback compelled her to assemble a crew, disregarding Ivy's counsel. Observing Dr. Psycho's solo confrontation with Wonder Woman on TV, they were taken aback when he used a derogatory term toward her, prompting Harley to suggest he needed better counsel to avoid such missteps. Seeking allies, Harley approached Underworld Talent Inc., only to face rejection upon severing ties with the Joker. Her efforts at Noonan's bar proved fruitless as potential recruits fled, one even leaping into a hell portal to evade her. Frustration mounted when Kite Man solicited aid, prompting the bar's patrons to rally behind his heist. In a fit of anger, Harley joined Ivy to attend Maxie Zeus's goon recruitment seminar. Disappointed by his shallow advice, Harley sought further guidance from Maxie, who instead propositioned her. He asserted that no bad guy would align with a woman, but Harley countered, asserting her independence. Rebuffed by Ivy once more, who cited a glass ceiling for female villains, Harley turned to the Queen of Fables. This sorceress, renowned for her past conquest of Gotham in the 80s, was subsequently imprisoned within a UX tax code tomb by Zatanna Zatara following a Justice League intervention. Following her meeting with Fables, who recounted her saga, Harley returned to Ivy's apartment feeling somewhat dejected, pondering whether Ivy doubted her capabilities. Ivy reassured her, emphasizing her faith in Harley and her desire to inform her of the challenges ahead. Inspired by her encounter with Fables, Harley resolved to recruit marginalized villains, starting with Dr. Psycho, recently ousted from the Legion of Doom for a televised indiscretion involving the C-word directed at his wife. Additionally, she welcomed Clayface into her crew. Their inaugural heist targeted Maxie Zeus for revenge. While Clayface provided a diversion, Harley and Dr. Psycho infiltrated Maxie's mansion to pilfer his gold medals. Encountering Maxie in combat, Harley demanded acknowledgement of her crew's prowess. With Dr. Psycho's telekinetic aid, Harley subjected Maxie to a thrashing, culminating in her own brutal assault with her bat. The following day, as reporters discovered Maxie battered and robbed, he reluctantly echoed Harley's proclamation. Utilizing Maxie's stolen medals, Harley procured a nuke, leveraging it to coerce Gotham City into renaming a highway in her honor. Finding Mr. Right. Harley Quinn arrived at Ivy's apartment laden with cash following a triumphant bank robbery, only to fly into a rage upon discovering the lack of media coverage for their exploit, venting her frustration by demolishing yet another television set in Ivy's living space. Despite Ivy's counsel that anonymity was advantageous, Harley obstinately persisted in her quest for a nemesis to enhance her notoriety. Their search on findanemesis.com proved fruitless until Clayface enlisted King Shark, a social media maven, to bolster Harley's online presence. Thanks to King Shark's efforts, Harley secured a match with Tommy Tomorrow, whom she deemed insufficiently significant, and resolved to target Batman instead. In an attempt to provoke Batman, Harley brazenly absconded with the Batmobile. However, her plans were thwarted when only Robin appeared to intervene, prompting Harley to abandon the vehicle. Undeterred, Robin fabricated a tale for Tawny Young's show, alleging a confrontation between himself and Harley, subsequently exacerbating Harley's ire upon learning of the falsified narrative. The situation escalated further when Lois Lane's coverage criticized the incident, deeming it regressive for the evil women's movement. Harley then concocted a scheme to coerce Lois into retracting her article, anticipating Superman's intervention and the potential for him to designate her as his nemesis. However, both Lois and Superman remained unperturbed by Harley's kidnapping attempt, with Superman escorting Robin to confront Harley, who, steadfast in her refusal to engage in combat, opted to retreat instead. In a bid to refute Robin's claims, Harley apprehended him and instructed King Shark to swim beneath Robin, aiming to intimidate him into retracting his assertion of being Harley's nemesis. Despite Robin's insistence, citing his influence over the media, Harley revealed his appearance on the Tawny Young show, where their interaction had been recorded. This vindicated Harley of any nemesis association, yet Robin's humiliation led to a nosebleed, which enraged King Shark. As King Shark moved to attack Robin, he called out for Batman, who intervened, subduing King Shark and rescuing Robin. Batman then admonished Harley for endangering Robin, declaring her imminent transfer to Arkham Asylum. Amidst the ongoing broadcast, Harley and Batman engaged in combat, with Harley narrowly evading capture until Poison Ivy arrived to assist, fending off Batman and safeguarding Harley. Together they clashed with Batman until the Joker arrived, incensed by Harley's attempt to usurp his nemesis. This sparked a three-way brawl, culminating in the Joker noticing Robin still bound from earlier and abducting him before fleeing. This compelled Batman to resume pursuit of the Joker as his primary nemesis. Following the altercation, Ivy reassured Harley, advising against forcing a nemesis and welcoming King Shark into their crew for his capabilities, particularly in technology. Additionally, she noted his proficiency, stating, "He does computer good." Being Harley Quinn. In her search for a new base of operations following Ivy's eviction notice, Harley repeatedly turned down various layers. The agent pressed her to define her identity, hoping to pinpoint her brand, but Harley's frustration only escalated, leading her to exclaim her uncertainty before she abruptly froze, what Dr. Psycho termed a level 4 brain freeze. Using telepathy, Dr. Psycho summons Harley's crew into her mind to diagnose and resolve the issue, transporting them into her museum of memories where they uncover significant aspects of her past. Encountering a manifestation of Harley within her own mind, Dr. Psycho warns against disturbing anything, fearing Harley's mind may attempt to expel them. However, when Harley glimpses a distorted memory of the Joker pushing her into a vat of chemicals, she endeavors to interact with it, triggering a brain lockdown that thwarts Dr. Psycho's attempts to reboot her mind and traps everyone within Harley's psyche. Mistaking them for intruders, Harley's mind dispatches Harley gremlins to eliminate them, coinciding with Cyborgman's arrival at Ivy's apartment, where he finds them unconscious on the floor, assuming them to be another suicide cult. Through Harley's optic nerve, she observed Cyborgman and Golda discussing cremation plans for their bodies before Golda instructed Cy to close Slutty Casper's eyes. In response, Harley directed Dr. Psycho to guide them out another exit, her subconscious. Within this realm, they encountered a carnival teeming with Joker clones, prompting Ivy to suggest that Harley still harbored unresolved feelings for her ex-boyfriend. Escaping from the gremlins that pursued them, Harley and her companions eventually reached a dead end. Fortunately, they were rescued by a hallucination of Frankie Muniz, Harley's childhood fixation, whom she had once plotted to kidnap and deceive into fathering a child. An act interpreted by Psycho as her sane mind offering assistance. Spotting Repressed Memory Island, Harley suspected it held the key to the glitch in her origin story memory. Leading the charge toward it, Harley was joined by her companions, while Clayface stayed behind to distract the pursuing gremlins by assuming the guise of Frankie Muniz. Traveling to the island on King Shark's back, Harley finally confronted the missing segment of her memory, discovering that it was her own decision to plunge into the acid and become Harley Quinn, contrary to the belief that the Joker had pushed her. Empowered by this revelation, Harley rejected Joker's offer to jump, asserting her control over her past. As Joker protested, insisting that she couldn't alter her history, Harley transformed the scene to Joker's funhouse on the day of their breakup, affirming that she alone shaped her identity. With balance restored to her mind, Harley found Clayface unscathed, and they returned to their bodies just in time to prevent Cyborgman from proceeding with their cremation. While her crew confronted Cy, Harley surveyed their surroundings in Gotham Mall and declared it their new hideout. Striking a deal with Cy to share the space in exchange for his involvement in their heists, Harley seized control of their destiny. You're a damn good cop, Jim Gordon. Harley and her crew ventured into Gotham Mall after absconding with King Tut's desiccated corpse, only to discover that KG Beast had been nominated for Legion of Doom membership, leaving Harley feeling neglected for 2 consecutive months. Enraged, she smashed King Shark's computer, prompting him to suggest stealing a replacement. Inspired, Harley concocted a plan to pilfer an invisible motorcycle from Wayne Tech to garner attention. While Clayface diverted the guards' attention, King Shark hacked through doors. Poison Ivy assisted everyone into Wayne Tech Tower, and Dr. Psycho commandeered a security guard to bypass the final retinal scan. Scaling the tower, Harley somersaulted through laser beams guarding the motorcycle, but noticed a more fortified inner area beyond its storage. Despite Dr. Psycho's objections, she abandoned the motorcycle, opting instead to purloin a device from the inner sanctum before redirecting the police's focus elsewhere. During the escape, Clayface lost an arm, sacrificed by Harley to facilitate their getaway. Initially satisfied with the heist, Harley's crew expressed misgivings, exacerbated by the cowled critic's scathing critique, who left behind Clayface's hand as evidence, further incriminating them. Determined to rectify the situation, Harley devised a plan to infiltrate the Gotham City Police Department, retrieve Clayface's hand, and bolster her crew's image to secure an invitation to the Legion of Doom. Concurrently, Poison Ivy and Dr. Psycho addressed the cowled critic's slander. Harley attempted to enlist King Shark for distraction, but he was swiftly apprehended and incarcerated at Blackgate Penitentiary. Tasking Clayface with diversion, Harley successfully infiltrated the building, confronting Commissioner Gordon on the roof just as Clayface's hand was poised to disclose their hideout's location. Threatening to activate the stolen Wayne Tech device, Harley faced Gordon's firearm. Pressing the button in defiance, instead of an explosion, she found herself unexpectedly teleported. Appearing in the Batcave, Harley attempted to persuade Batman that Gordon was in distress, asserting that Batman had forsaken him. In doing so, Harley realized she had neglected her crew, consumed by her own pursuits. Acknowledging her lapse, she implored Batman to mend his relationship with Gordon. Together, they returned to the police station, where Batman reconciled with Gordon, prompting Clayface's hand to reunite with its owner. Despite their reconciliation, Batman asserted his intention to escort Harley to Arkham. Reacting swiftly, Harley activated the device once more, tossing it to Batman, teleporting him back to the Batcave just as Dr. Psycho arrived with Ivy, facilitating their escape. Expressing remorse for her neglect, Harley apologized to her crew, prioritizing their well-being over her Legion of Doom aspirations. The cowled critic even commended her efforts, albeit noting her repeated abandonment of crew members, including King Shark. Harley and her companions then rescued King Shark from Blackgate. The Line. The Queen of Fables received a legal order for release from the United States Tax Code, advising Harley that she must pilfer something coveted by the Legion of Doom to gain attention. Opting to steal Cord Industries' renowned weather machine, Harley devised a plan involving Star Laboratories' personal force field device to counteract Cord Industries' laser defenses shielding the weather machine. However, the plan hit a snag due to the necessity of someone being able to navigate a 4-inch crawlspace, further complicated when news flashed on TV of the Queen of Fables' liberation from tax code imprisonment only to be sentenced to Arkham. Seizing the opportunity, Harley liberated the Queen of Fables during her transfer to prison. Assisting Harley, the Queen of Fables agreed to aid in pilfering the force field from Star Labs, but her brutal methods unnerved Harley's crew. Despite this, Harley pressed on, employing a conjured mouse by Queen of Fables for the mission, while the Queen herself diverted the attention of a family who witnessed their activities. Upon a successful heist, Harley returned to a grisly scene, the entire family reunion slaughtered. Spotting a surviving girl, Harley claimed to see no survivors to prevent further bloodshed at the Queen of Fables' hands. At Ivy's behest, Harley attempted to delicately part ways with the Queen of Fables over their differing views on killing innocents, leading to the Queen's departure. Successfully acquiring the weather machine using the force field, Harley attempted to extort $1 billion from Gotham's mayor, only for the Queen of Fables to intervene in an attempt to steal it. Despite Harley's protests of their friendship, the Queen persisted until Jason Praxis, the lone survivor of the massacre, intervened, destroying the Queen's storybook and launching an electrical assault. Harley struck a deal to hand over the Queen of Fables in exchange for mercy, but cleverly affixed her force field to the Queen's wrist, causing Praxis's attack to rebound, incapacitating him. Sending the Queen away, Harley ensured her departure, though not before the Queen brutally dispatched Jason Praxis. Left alone, Harley attempted to utilize the weather machine, only for it to self-destruct after numerous failed login attempts. L.O.D.R.S.V.P. In the depths of the ocean, Harley and her crew recently acquired a trove of Atlantean jewels from the Atlantis Museum of Art, employing Clayface's guise as Aquaman to deceive the guards. However, their ruse was thwarted when the real Aquaman intercepted them at the ocean's surface, necessitating Poison Ivy's intervention to ensnare him in seaweed, enabling their escape. Their escapade garnered media attention, attracting the interest of the Legion of Doom, who extended an invitation for Harley's consideration. Harley persuaded Ivy to accompany her to the Legion's headquarters, albeit reluctantly. Guided by Scarecrow, they toured the facility, with Harley and her crew enamored by the opulence while Ivy remained unimpressed. As Harley socialized at the gathering, Aquaman arrived to reclaim his jewels from Ivy and Harley. A skirmish ensued, with Aquaman engaging Legion members like Black Manta, who incapacitated Ivy. Harley intervened, provoking Aquaman into hurling his trident, causing chaos as it shattered an aquarium, compelling Aquaman to rescue the spilled fish. Harley received praise for her actions, but Ivy unexpectedly suggested forming their own league, separate from the Legion. Though tempted, Harley insisted on pursuing Legion membership until Ivy revealed the Legion's ulterior motive, blackmailing Ivy into joining as per Lex Luthor's decree. To Ivy's astonishment, Luthor declared Harley Quinn the Legion's new member despite Ivy's disapproval, leading Harley to feel betrayed by Ivy's lack of faith in her. Following a heated exchange, Harley found herself plummeting into the depths of Gotham Mall's basement, where she encountered Dr. Psycho and Cyborgman restraining a colossal tentacle monster. As Harley empathized with the creature's feelings of abandonment, she realized her own misjudgment of Ivy. After releasing the monster and returning to the Legion, Harley contemplated reconciling with Ivy, but ultimately chose not to. Soon after, she confronted the Joker. A seat at the table. Harley and her crew officially joined the Legion of Doom, with the Joker commending her entrance, praising her with a "killing it." Despite her crew's warnings not to fall for his manipulations, Harley found herself drawn to the Joker's approval. Attempting to mend fences with Poison Ivy, she promised her unwavering support, and proposed aiding Ivy in dismantling LexCorp's planet-wide pavers factory before attending her inaugural Legion of Doom gathering. There, she voiced dissent over the Joker's extravagant tower expenditure, earning unexpected praise from him for challenging his ideas and prompting him to suggest a work drink to refine his plans and impart some system gaming knowledge. Though initially reluctant, Harley's concern for her crew, especially amidst Bane's looming presence, led her to accept the Joker's invitation. During their dinner rendezvous, the Joker assured Harley that he would handle her crew's predicament with Lex Luthor, painting her as an indispensable asset to be kept content. Despite Harley's initial reservations, she found herself enjoying the evening, even dismissing Ivy's beckoning for a meeting. As they commandeered a yacht for an impromptu dinner, the Joker surprisingly entertained Harley's input on his tower design, agreeing to her suggestion of a Jack-in-the-Box emergence. However, their soiree was interrupted by Batman's arrival, prompting the Joker to fend him off with a grenade and prepare for a getaway in a helicopter. In a twist reminiscent of Til Death Do Us Part, rather than abandoning Harley to Batman's clutches, the Joker offered to take her with him, seemingly embracing her acceptance. Overjoyed, Harley embraced him as they ascended into the sky, sharing dreams of escape until the Joker callously betrayed her, shoving her from the helicopter to her apparent demise. As she plummeted, memories of the tumultuous relationship flooded her mind, leaving her shattered until Batman intervened, breaking her fall. Batman gently reproached Harley, stating, "Some things never change, Quinn," as Harley, overcome with emotion, slipped off the Batplane and gracefully plunged into the waters below. Upon reaching the shore, she hurried to the hospital room upon hearing of King Shark's injury during Bane's mission. Despite her attempts to stick to her fabricated tale of delay caused by the Legion of Doom, her crew and Ivy had all witnessed her intimate moment with the Joker, exposing her deceit. Desperate to salvage her credibility, she insisted that her encounter with the Joker was solely to free them from Bane's grip, but her crew remained unconvinced, hindered by her initial falsehood. Ivy, too, distanced herself from Harley, spurning her offer of assistance in dismantling the planet-wide pavers factory, asserting, "I need people I can count on." Bensonhurst. Harley monitored her former crew's activities on Instagram, exchanging brief words with Bane before embarking alone to the Gotham Mall. Despite her attempts to reach Ivy proving futile, a hallucination of Dr. Quinzel materialized, urging Harley to seek solace and affection from her mother. Upon arriving at her mother Sharon Quinzel's residence in Bensonhurst, Harley received a warm welcome and expressed regret for her lack of communication. Nonetheless, Harley dismissed Sharon's suggestion of returning to psychiatry and felt perturbed by Sharon's preservation of her second-place gymnastics trophy. It emerged that Harley had come close to winning a tournament, but her father, Nick Quinzel, requested she take a dive to assist in settling a bet and easing his financial burdens, a demand that triggered Harley into a fit of rage, resulting in her assaulting him. Emerging from the memory, Harley articulated her initial relief regarding Nick's incarceration, only to be confronted by the unsettling news of his release and reunion with Sharon. Throughout dinner, Harley persistently aired her grievances about Nick, dismissing Sharon's proposal that she consider marrying a Jewish doctor until Nick interjected, urging civility, particularly for Grandma Quinzel's sake. Grandma Quinzel successfully conveyed the news of her brain cancer moments before her head violently burst open due to an assailant's gunfire. In response, Harley swiftly closed the blinds, drenched everyone in blood, and instructed them to remain motionless while the assassin was compelled to physically enter the premises. Seizing the opportunity, Harley cunningly manipulated the assassin's own knife, impaling him in the chest and forcefully seating him in a chair. With a firm grip on the knife, she demanded to know the identity of his employer, driving the blade deeper. However, before he could divulge any information, Nick swiftly ended his life with a shot to the head, seeking vengeance for Grandma Quinzel's untimely demise. Afterward, Nick asserted that the hitman hailed from the mob, targeting him due to an outstanding loan. Together they confronted the assailants, Nick guiding Harley through strategic gymnastic maneuvers to overcome the mobsters, ultimately emerging victorious. Nick sincerely apologized for manipulating her earlier and commended her prowess until their conversation was abruptly halted by the arrival of a final mobster armed with a minigun. In a selfless act, Nick shielded Harley from gunfire, losing his last thumb in the process, before Harley dispatched the assailant. Subsequently, Harley and Nick seemed to reconcile, hopeful that her father had genuinely changed. Grandpa Quinzel arrived at the house to celebrate, claiming to have high blood pressure and wanting to drink with the time he had left, only for his chest to explode in another shatter of gore from a shotgun blast. Harley then killed yet another assassin and angrily declared that she would keep her family safe, only for another, much smaller explosion of gore to erupt from her own stomach. She was shot by her own father. He revealed that he had tipped off an assassin to kill Harley so he could collect a finder's fee from the $1 million bounty on her head, and simply had her wipe out the mob while he waited. But when both assassins failed, he intended to kill her and collect the bounty himself. As Harley reached for a knife, her own mother took it away to prevent her from grabbing it. Sharon said that she only wanted what every Jewish mother wants, for you to marry a doctor, but Harley insisted that she is a doctor, much to her mother's disapproval. Sharon mentioned her attempts to subtly change Harley's life only to receive negative reactions of yelling and fighting. When Harley claimed her right to love as her daughter, Sharon highlighted the social repercussions of having a supervillain daughter. Despite Harley tending to her wound, Nick shot at her. Nick drew parallels between himself and Harley, accusing her of disloyalty, while Harley argued that her crew had abandoned her. Sharon criticized Harley's choice and men for their predicament, leading to a physical confrontation between Harley and Nick. Eventually, Harley disowned her family, sparing their lives, and left the house injured. She later woke up in a car with Frank the Plant, who informed her that Ivy had been kidnapped and needed her assistance. Harley Quinn Highway. Outside the planet-wide pavers factory, Frank persuaded Harley that it was too risky to infiltrate without her crew. She contacted Clayface, Dr. Psycho, and King Shark with a sincere apology for how she had treated them, but they all refused her offer to rejoin the crew until Frank revealed that Ivy had been kidnapped. Chiding Harley to put your thesis statement at the motherfucking top, he convinced everyone to reunite the crew, although most members agreed only to help rescue Ivy and wanted nothing to do with Harley afterward. Cyborgman also volunteered his help, driving everyone to the factory in a pretzel-wrapped Wiener's truck and gaining entry by pretending to make a delivery. Once inside, everyone put on disguises and ventured deeper into the factory, eventually locating Ivy by following her screams. Dr. Psycho suggested they must enter her mind to combat the fear toxin damaging her brain, so Harley knocked Ivy out, unaware that they could have been awake for the procedure. Entering Ivy's mind, they found it cloaked in darkness and filled with her worst fears, including a wood chipper shredding young trees and spewing blood. After defeating the wood chipper, a hallucination of Frank appeared and told Ivy she needed to confront her biggest fear to repair her mind. Frank guided everyone to a mansion where Harley discovered a memory of Ivy's cruel father taunting her about her lack of friends. Assuming he was Ivy's greatest fear, Harley attacked him, but he transformed into a giant mouth that swallowed Ivy and nearly consumed Harley too. King Shark bit his tongue, causing him to spit them out of the mansion in a flood of blood and pain. Harley wanted to go back, but Frank revealed he wasn't Ivy's biggest fear. At that moment, Kite Man emerged from the darkness, only to be caught by a fireball and disintegrated. Death then emerged and launched a fiery attack on Harley and her crew. Harley had Clayface morph into a bat, which she used to club Death to death. However, when she pulled back Death's hood, she discovered it was actually Harley herself, whom Ivy feared most. With Ivy's biggest fear defeated, her mind suddenly corrected itself and ejected everyone. Harley awoke amid a bloody scene, with Cyborgman having killed numerous guards who arrived after he accidentally triggered the alarm. While Harley demanded answers about why she was Ivy's biggest fear, Ivy insisted they focus on pursuing Scarecrow and the rest of the Legion of Doom. Cy transformed into a car and they all sped off after Scarecrow onto the Harley Quinn Highway, a Mario Kart-style track with loops and sharp turns designed by Harley herself. Ivy quickly took over one of Scarecrow's trucks. Harley again pressed Ivy about her fear, and Ivy revealed that she feared trusting someone only to be abandoned, as Harley did with the Joker. Before they could reconcile, Harley's truck slowed down on a loop and succumbed to gravity, forcing her to maneuver through the air to land safely inside Clayface. When Ivy was thrown from her truck, Harley and Cy jump off the truck to intercept her fall, and Harley herself pulled Ivy to safety. After landing, Harley invited Cy to join the crew, even if it was just the two of them, and then they raced to catch the last truck carrying Scarecrow. As Scarecrow took the Gotham Park exit, spiraling around a giant statue of Harley, she aimed at the statue with a rocket launcher and declared, "Old me, time to blow her up." She fired, destroying the statue, whose head fell onto the track, blocking Scarecrow's truck. Thinking they were successful, Harley asked Ivy if they could reconcile, but Scarecrow drove his truck off the track, landing in the Gotham reservoir and contaminating the entire water supply with Ivy's pheromones. Harley and her crew watched in horror as trees throughout Gotham transformed into ravenous monsters. Devil's Snare. Harley and Ivy struggled to fend off the plant monsters, but were ultimately surrounded. They were saved by the intervention of the Justice League, who quickly defeated the nearby monsters but mistakenly blamed Harley and her crew. They were nearly banished to the Phantom Zone until Poison Ivy wrapped Wonder Woman's lasso of truth around her neck, forcing her to reveal the truth and prove their innocence. Queen of Fables then appeared and trapped the entire Justice League inside her storybook, just as Zatanna Zatara had done to her 30 years ago. She tossed a beanstalk at their feet, launching them into the sky where a giant attempted to eat them. Ivy sent a distress call to Kite Man, prompting Harley to question how Ivy had his number memorized. While battling the giant, Ivy eventually admitted she was dating Kite Man. Everyone in the crew, including Cy, knew about it, but Ivy claimed Harley was too self-centered to notice. The giant captured them, but Kite Man arrived and threw hot sauce in the giant's eye, causing it to fall and toss them out of the clouds. As they plummeted, Kite Man caught Ivy, Harley, Dr. Psycho, and Clayface on his kite, and extended a rope ladder for King Shark and Cyborgman. With the extra weight accelerating their descent, Clayface launched himself to the ground and reformed into a ramp, breaking the fall for Dr. Psycho, Harley, Cy, and King Shark. Kite Man gently brought himself and Ivy to the ground, and their passionate kissing afterward disgusted Harley and her crew. Harley commandeered Commissioner Gordon's tank to take on the Legion of Doom, but it exploded before she could fire a missile. The Joker's tower then rose from the ground and broadcasted the Joker live, who mocked the Legion for accepting any second-rate clown with a cheap dye job. Harley retorted that she went to a high-end salon weekly, only for Ivy to point out that she actually buys dye from the drugstore. Harley attempted to attack the Joker's tower with their tank, but another tank fell from the sky, thrown by a plant monster, and crushed theirs. Ivy went to distract the plant monsters surrounding the tower, allowing Harley to confront Queen of Fables. Queen of Fables ordered the big bad wolf to get Harley, but King Shark killed and ate his innards. Harley then used the wolf's pelt as a disguise to approach Queen of Fables, and then ripped out of it, decapitating Queen of Fables. Poison Ivy arrived as a giantess, but another plant monster kidnapped Harley. Ivy chased and killed the monster, catching Harley as she fell. With Harley in Ivy's hand, they reconciled, with Harley admitting that she struggled with having good people in her life, but she promised to do better. As they laughed together, a flagpole shot from the Joker's tower pierced Ivy's chest, causing her to shrink back to human size and die in Harley's arms, surrounded by a bed of flowers. The Joker's laughter echoed, saying "oops," and Harley screamed in rage and loss. The final joke. Harley tearfully attended Ivy's funeral, and overwhelmed with rage, she attempted to confront the Joker and kill him. However, Dr. Psycho stopped her, insisting that they formulate a plan first. Harley decided to team up with Batman, sending Clayface to pose as Batman and distract the Joker while the real Batman snuck up to defeat him. Although the Joker initially fell for the ruse, he insisted Harley sing Happy Birthday, which Clayface couldn't resist singing along to, revealing the deception. This forced Harley to fire a rocket at the Joker's tower. After the smoke cleared, the Joker and the real Batman faced each other, leading the Joker to run to the center of the tower and encapsulate himself in a protective dome while the room filled with gas. Batman was knocked out and captured, and the Joker's traps ensnared all of Harley's crew except for her, who escaped using her gymnastics. On the run, Harley left red and black roses on Ivy's grave. Kite Man and Frank the Plant, who had been living in a camp behind the grave, informed Harley about her crew's impending execution. Harley bid Ivy goodbye, shedding tears that landed on her grave before leaving to save her crew. The flowers she left began to move on their own accord. Knowing the Joker wanted her alive, Harley strapped a bomb to herself and threatened suicide if he didn't release her crew. He agreed, but only if she put on her old outfit. After complying, the Joker released her crew and gave a small speech about how Harley was the missing piece to his happiness. As they moved closer for a kiss, they both stabbed each other in the gut and started fighting. Despite Harley stabbing the Joker multiple times, he easily overpowered her. After defeating her, he confessed that he did need her because she was his only weakness and had to be eliminated. Harley dared him to kill her, but the Joker had other plans. Claiming that killing her would allow her to live on forever, an emotional martyr in my soul, the Joker instead planned to erase her memories completely, rendering her a normal person again. He held her over a vat of acid, preparing to push her in, but Harley noticed vines growing around the edge of the vat and asked the Joker to let her jump in on her own accord. Amused, the Joker agreed. Harley then jumped off the catwalk and into Ivy's waiting vines. Ivy rose into the air and dispatched the Joker's goons. At Harley's direction, she grabbed the Joker and dropped him into the vat of acid. Harley was ecstatic, thinking her tears had brought Ivy back to life, though Ivy said it was simply the renewing power of nature. In his final act, the Joker activated a self-destruct mechanism, destroying his tower and most of Gotham City, sinking the rest into the surrounding waters. This also freed Batman, who saved Harley and Ivy from a falling pipe, ending up crushed instead. Harley, Ivy, and the rest of her crew then looked out over the burning, utterly destroyed Gotham City, noting that both the Justice League and the Legion of Doom were either incapacitated or dead, including the Joker. Overwhelmed, Harley commented that it was so beautiful before hugging Ivy. Season 2, New Gotham. In the aftermath of Gotham City's destruction, the President of the United States declared it civitas non grata, effectively removing it from the country. This delighted Harley Quinn. She went on a rampage through the anarchic city with her hyenas Bud and Lou, kidnapping a famous sushi chef named Takashi to cook for her crew. Ivy pulled her aside and urged her to take control of the city, but Harley refused, reveling in the lack of hierarchy in New Gotham. When Cy Borgman compared the situation to post-war Vietnam, Harley dismissed the comment, only to be interrupted by the arrival of the Penguin's goons. The two goons claimed that the Gotham Mall was the Penguin's turf, but King Shark ate one of them and scared the other away. Ivy used this to stress to Harley that more goons would keep coming unless she took control herself. Harley tried to deny it until another band of goons, this time from Two-Face, arrived. Harley then decided to address the situation by inciting a rebellion, encouraging the citizens to act independently and undermine their former masters. With anarchy restored, Harley set out to steal the last ginger in Gotham for Takashi's sushi preparation, but was delayed by 5 new upstart villains. Ivy later complained to Harley about the numerous small-time villains around, but Harley brushed it off, taking a letter from Lou containing an invitation to the Injustice League. This disturbed Harley, as she wanted no structures or hierarchies at all, prompting Ivy to mock her. Harley arrived at the Injustice League's headquarters, where the Penguin and Two-Face insisted on maintaining a hierarchy. Disturbed, she argued that they had the opportunity to innovate rather than revert to their old habits. Mr. Freeze then revealed the League's new proposed map of Gotham City to Harley, showing the city divided into territories. In response, Harley smashed through the map and the table beneath it, rejecting their idea of territorial division, which led Mr. Freeze to encase her in a block of ice. Harley wakes up in the middle of an escape attempt, with only her face free of the ice, and she screams for release. Eventually, Cy Borgman uses a blowtorch to free her swinging arm, allowing her to start fighting the Penguin's goons while still half encased in ice, laughing maniacally as she used the ice block to smash the goons repeatedly. However, when Dr. Psycho throws Harley's block into a trio of goons, she gets too far ahead of her crew. The Penguin then seals the door behind her, leaving her alone with him and still entrapped in ice. The Penguin mocked Harley, effortlessly disarming her while she was still encased, and prepared to kill her. However, he got too close, allowing Harley to bite his nose off, causing him to recoil. This action also knocked Harley's ice block down, shattering it and freeing her. Yet, she accidentally broke her bat while trying to strike the Penguin. Mocking her as a defrosted gymnast without her bat, the Penguin began launching grenades at her from his umbrella, knocking her aside with the explosions. Unwilling to be defeated, Harley utilized the smoke from the grenades to conceal herself, disorienting the Penguin by throwing her voice. Sneaking up on him, she thrust the broken end of her bat into his throat and pulled it out, killing him. Afterward, she turned to her crew and casually requested coffee, leading them to Noonan's bar. There, she questioned why the goons returned to their bosses so swiftly. Ivy attempted to soften the blow, but Clayface bluntly revealed that Harley had been encased in ice for 2 months, shocking her. Ivy then showed Harley what she had missed, revealing the city carved up by the Injustice League. Reluctantly, Harley admitted Ivy was right and vowed to seize control of the city herself. Riddler U. Harley, lacking power or lightning, focuses on Riddler University, the sole illuminated spot in New Gotham. She devises a plan with Poison Ivy to infiltrate the university disguised as students and assassinate the Riddler. Disguised in heavy makeup to conceal her complexion, they hitch a ride with Kite Man to the university. Pretending to be co-eds, they join a tour led by Barbara Gordon, adopting aliases like Heather Witherby and smoothly blending in. However, Harley spots someone resembling the Riddler in the crowd and impulsively attacks, only to realize he's Jiminy Riddles, the university's mascot. In the scuffle, Harley gets drenched, causing her makeup to smear, revealing her true identity deputy to Barbara Gordon, who observes nearby. Barbara gives chase, but Harley and Ivy manage to escape. Later that night, they break into Barbara's dorm, where after a brief struggle, Barbara reveals she's been gathering evidence against the Riddler and wants to take him down. She provides them with wristbands to access a suspicious frat house, which they seize before leaving. At the frat party, Harley's attention is diverted by an ice luge, but Ivy refocuses her, enabling them to incapacitate the VIP area guard and infiltrate it. Inside, they discover the Riddler's power generator, fueled by human hamster wheels, and confront the Riddler himself. Despite Harley's mockery of his riddle stick, he knocks her out with an electric bolt from it. Harley finds herself on a hamster wheel, attempting to rally Clayface for help, but he misunderstands, believing she's insulting him. Eventually, Barbara arrives to free them, and they subdue and capture the Riddler, forcing him to generate power on his own hamster wheel at Gotham Mall. Catwoman. Harley struggles to penetrate the thick ice leading to Mr. Freeze's lair, but a guard inadvertently discloses that Firefly's flamethrower, held by Dr. Trap at the Gotham Natural History Museum, is the only thing capable of melting it. En route, Harley suggests Ivy should be a better partner than Kite Man, but Ivy dismisses this as hypocritical given Harley's history with the Joker. Ivy protests Harley's plan involving Catwoman until Catwoman arrives, prompting Ivy to suddenly change her tune and praise her. Perplexed, Harley proceeds with the original plan. As Harley, Ivy, and Catwoman prepare to enter the museum, Kite Man interrupts, seeking Harley's assistance and obtaining a ring from the museum for his proposal to Ivy. Reluctantly, Harley agrees, initially advising against it, but impressed by Kite Man's dedication to Ivy, she helps him earnestly. Despite facing challenges, including a swarm of hornets, Harley secures the ring for Kite Man. However, Catwoman steals the ring just as Kite Man proposes, leading Harley to remark, "What a cold bee." As they retrieve the flamethrower, they trigger a trap which begins to constrict, threatening to crush them. Angry at Catwoman, Harley realizes the flamethrower can free them, smashing Dr. Trap's face with a bat in retaliation. Returning to Gotham Mall, Harley finds Dr. Psycho on the hamster wheel and the Riddler missing. Her frustration fades when she sees the Riddler voluntarily return the wheel, preferring its benefits. She then locates Ivy at a pier, taking out executives who polluted the harbor. Comforting Ivy's frustration about her past self, Harley admits her approval of Kite Man before they embrace, finding solace in each other's company. Thawing Hearts. Harley Quinn melted a hole in the ice resembling a vagina to access Mr. Freeze's lair. En route, she learned about Kite Man and Ivy's engagement, initially thrilled until Dr. Psycho suggested she bring a date to the wedding. Engaging in combat with Mr. Freeze's goons, she was interrupted by Mr. Freeze himself, who froze them all with his ray gun. Awakening in a cell, Mr. Freeze outlined his plan to use Harley in human trials to cure his wife Nora, taking her to his operating table. Convincing him to release her in exchange for Poison Ivy's aid, Harley secured their status as guests in his home. In reality, Harley intended to betray Mr. Freeze, planning to stall for time to kidnap Nora as leverage for his freeze ray. However, Mr. Freeze anticipated this move, immobilizing them in ice from the waist down during dinner. Harley accused him of mistreating Nora, declaring herself a champion of ice-blocked women and vowing to rescue her, intending to kill Mr. Freeze. During the banquet, Harley debated with Mr. Freeze about his treatment of Nora and the nature of love, until he left to retrieve spinach puffs. Seizing the opportunity, she instructed Clayface to retrieve the freeze ray, using it to free themselves. When Mr. Freeze returned, Harley accused him of freezing Nora to control her, likening him to the Joker. Ignoring his protests, she unfroze Nora, only to witness her rapid deterioration from her illness. Threatened by Mr. Freeze to cure Nora or face an explosion, Harley reluctantly called Ivy for help. Ivy arrived irritated, but Harley defended herself, alleging Mr. Freeze's insanity and his role in the Injustice League's attack on her. However, Mr. Freeze revealed they initially intended to kill her until he persuaded them to encase her in ice instead. Surprised by Mr. Freeze's willingness to sacrifice himself for Nora, Harley's perception of love shifted. King Shark offered comfort as Harley tried to console Nora, who demanded that they leave. All the best inmates have daddy issues. Harley and Ivy found themselves at Noonan's bar, where they spotted the Joker, now leading a normal life as a bartender. Ivy's immediate impulse was to kill him, whereas Harley hesitated, willing to give him a chance if he had genuinely transformed. This sparked a debate on whether true change was possible. Harley cited their own past transformations as evidence, but Ivy remained skeptical, asserting that while Harley helped her in the past, it didn't signify genuine change. To settle the matter, Harley enlisted Dr. Psycho as a tiebreaker to determine if the Joker had indeed changed. Dr. Psycho's confirmation in favor of change validated Harley's stance. They left the bar together, arm in arm, only to be swiftly apprehended by Two-Face. There's no place to go but down. Harley and Ivy find themselves in a makeshift court, facing charges for the murder of Oswald Cobblepot. Harley urges Ivy to shift all blame onto her so Ivy can go free, a proposal Ivy considers. However, when Ivy takes the stand, she confesses to everything, leading to both of them being sentenced to life in prison. Ivy reassures Harley that they can escape, but their plans are disrupted when Bane transports them to his new underground penitentiary, the Pit. Initially seeming impregnable, their hopes rise when Bane announces George Lopez's appearance at the prison talent show. Harley devises a scheme to hijack his helicopter, but her attempt to incite a riot with offensive stand-up comedy fails when Bane detains her for refusing to make her bed. Desperate, she implores Ivy to execute that part of the plan. While detained, Harley confronts Cheryl, eventually overpowering her, though not without difficulty. Just as she breaks free, the helicopter lifts out of reach. Ivy eventually incites a riot, providing Harley with an opportunity as the chaos creates a ramp toward the surface. They start climbing, pursued by an enraged Bane who accelerates his pursuit after Harley throws a chair at him. However, as Ivy reaches higher ground, she summons a plant to lift them towards the surface, providing a potential escape route. Bane propelled himself upward, seizing hold of Harley's ankle, causing them to plummet. In a moment of clarity, Harley realizes she must release Ivy to save her, uttering a few final words before letting go, sacrificing herself for Ivy's escape. As Ivy shoots upwards, Bane grasps Harley's face and they plummet to their apparent demise. In the struggle, Harley dislodges Bane's tubes, causing him to revert to normal size and babble incoherently as they fall toward the inferno below. Observing Ivy's successful escape, Harley resigns herself to the fiery depths, only for Ivy to dive back into the pit, grabbing Harley's ankle. The recoil from Ivy's leap propels them both out of the pit to safety. Overwhelmed by their survival, Harley finds solace in Ivy's embrace, both panting with relief at their newfound freedom. In a moment of shock, they share a brief yet passionate kiss before pulling away, stunned by their own actions. Inner parademons. Harley felt unsettled afterward and desired to express her feelings for Ivy, but Ivy dismissed the kiss as an impulsive spur-of-the-moment thing, visibly disappointing Harley, though she outwardly agreed with Ivy. Demonstrating her impulsiveness, Harley kissed the first person she encountered, Dr. Psycho, who recoiled in disgust. Feigning nonchalance, Harley casually asked Ivy if she intended to inform Kite Man. Once Ivy departed, Harley began plotting her next nefarious scheme. Despite King Shark and Clayface's reluctance, Dr. Psycho enthusiastically encouraged her. However, their plans were interrupted by Batgirl's arrival, warning them of Commissioner Gordon's imminent threat. This bolstered Harley's resolve, convincing her of the need for an evil army to protect herself, so she ousted Batgirl. Upon her return, seeking ideas for assembling an army, despite King Shark and Clayface noticing her altered behavior, Dr. Psycho knew precisely where to turn. Directed by Dr. Psycho, Harley stole a mother box to create an interdimensional portal known as a boom tube to Darkseid's realm of Apocalypse, a task she accomplished effortlessly, propelling them on their journey. Upon arriving on Apocalypse, Darkseid swiftly discerned Harley's true intentions. Despite warning her that his armies wouldn't fulfill her desires, he offered them to her on the condition that she could vanquish Granny Goodness in combat. After an ignominious defeat at the hands of Granny Goodness, Dr. Psycho intervened, manipulating Harley like a puppet with his telekinesis, causing her to drop a massive boulder onto Granny Goodness's head, shattering her skull and securing victory. Claiming Granny Goodness's scepter, Harley assumed control of the Parademon army and utilized a boom tube to return to New Gotham. Following an altercation with Gordon, Harley unleashed her army upon his amassed forces, triggering chaos as Gotham's tanks, police, and militia clashed with the demonic Parademon army. The aftermath left a scene of bloody, apocalyptic destruction, but Harley remained fixated on Gordon's downfall. Stepping forth to confront him, she was halted by Poison Ivy's sudden arrival. Ivy challenged Harley, questioning if the death and devastation were truly what she desired. In that moment, Harley realized Darkseid's insight was accurate. This violence wasn't her true desire, and her army failed to fill the void within. Looking towards Ivy, Harley shattered Granny Goodness's scepter, relinquishing her hold over the parademons, who scattered uncontrollably. Surrendering control of the city to Gordon, Harley left the battlefield, approaching Ivy with an urgent need to express her feelings. However, before she could speak, Kite Man unexpectedly appeared behind Ivy, singing her praises. Ivy reciprocated, expressing her desire to spend her life with him and sealing her sentiment with a kiss, witnessed by Harley, who felt her heartache intensify. Unable to reveal her true feelings, Harley feigned interest in assisting Ivy with planning a bachelorette party. Bachelorette. Harley transformed into a meticulous planner, orchestrating Ivy's bachelorette party on Themyscira with meticulous precision. However, her efforts were met with indifference from Nora Freeze, Jennifer, and Catwoman, who showed little enthusiasm for the event. Awkwardly praising Ivy's upcoming marriage, Harley's overly long hug and hair-sniffing unsettled Ivy. After ushering Ivy away, Catwoman deduced that Harley and Ivy had been romantically involved, a notion Harley initially denied but later confirmed after admitting to their kiss. Seeking emotional support, Harley found herself abandoned by Catwoman, left to grapple with her insecurities. As the bridesmaids began to voice their discontent, Harley's frustration reached its peak, coercing them into feigning enjoyment for Ivy's sake. That night, they complied with Harley's manipulation, pretending to enjoy themselves until Eris appeared. Intrigued by Eris's mention of Hedonica, an island with male presence, Harley impulsively decided to take everyone there. Amidst the revelry, Ivy found herself in high spirits after consuming copious spirits, commending Harley for fostering camaraderie and declaring them best friends. The next morning, they awoke in the same bed, both inebriated. Ivy's panicked reaction and subsequent withdrawal strained their relationship, despite Harley's attempts to reconcile. Seeking advice from Catwoman proved futile, leaving Harley to persuade Ivy to salvage the weekend. Proposing a plan to thwart Eris and save Themyscira, Harley rallied everyone to action. With Ivy's reluctant agreement, they confronted Eris, freeing Queen Hippolyta and thwarting Lex Luthor's plans. In gratitude, Hippolyta threw a lavish celebration where Harley and Ivy once again found themselves intoxicated and intimate. Harley seized the opportunity to envision a future together, but Ivy, overwhelmed by uncertainty, chose to marry Kite Man, leaving Harley devastated and alone, sobbing on the ground as Ivy departed. Die Hard. Feeling downcast after the Bachelorette party, Harley tried to go drinking with King Shark and Clayface, but they both had other plans. Cyborgman attempted to console her, but she ignored his advice and decided to have sex with a stranger. She ended up at a bar in Wayne Tower, the only safe place left, but was repulsed by the dull clientele. To make matters worse, she discovered the Joker was the bartender. She tried to leave, but he engaged her in conversation until a heist crew stormed in and took everyone hostage. She tried to escape again, but ended up handcuffed to the Joker. Fixated on her, the Joker mentioned a dream he had after their encounter in All the Best Inmates Have Daddy Issues, where they were on a yacht with bankers. This alarmed Harley, who assured him it was just a dream as she attempted to escape once more. Using him as a human flail to knock out a guard whom she then kicked to death, they fled through a vent. The Joker asked what was bothering her, and though she initially refused to talk, she eventually confessed to her emotional turmoil over Ivy's rejection. They stumbled upon the Riddler, who was there to steal a helmet from Wayne Tower. Harley was more interested in how he became so buff. When he almost recognized the Joker, Harley frantically covered his mouth and denied it, fleeing the area. Shortly afterward, they were confronted by two goons. Harley broke their handcuffs and accidentally blasted one goon with a cancer ray. That goon ran away, and the other hit her with a stun grenade while she emphatically apologized. Seeing the Joker's old self resurface after killing the last goon, Harley slapped him back to sanity, endured his monologue in the elevator, and reached the rooftop where Jim Gordon tackled and arrested the Joker. She denied Gordon's accusations that they were back together until her crew arrived, claiming that they had received a text from her that she had never sent. Dr. Psycho then revealed his betrayal, taking control of her old parademon army to use against her. The Joker urged her to call Ivy for help, but Harley refused to drag Ivy into her mess. After initially fending off the parademons with her crew, Dr. Psycho escalated the situation by surrounding the tower with a mental shield when taking control of Harley's crew, leaving her with only Gordon and Cyborgman to assist. She was quickly overpowered but was saved by a net from the Batplane and a blast from Psy. While Dr. Psycho was temporarily incapacitated, Cyborgman realized he needed to sacrifice himself to allow Harley and the others to escape, bringing Harley to tears. He left her his eye as she fled to the Batplane. As she lamented that she would need the entire Justice League to stop Dr. Psycho, the Joker mentioned he remembered having a book with the entire Justice League trapped inside, although he couldn't recall where. She brought him to the Ace Chemicals factory to jog his memory, and although she desperately tried to get him to remember, he couldn't, so she pushed him into the vat of acid to restore him to his former self. A fight worth fighting for. Harley planted a bomb in the Joker's head to ensure his cooperation, and when he emerged from the acid laughing hysterically, she began slapping him repeatedly and demanding to know where the Queen of Fables storybook was. When he refused, blaming her for wasting months of his life as a suburban dad, she used the bomb to force him to bring her to the book at his girlfriend Bethany's house. Once there, she had to threaten him not to kill Bethany. Bethany eventually brought out the book after his harsh rebuke, which Harley commented on, but she threw it over their heads to a parademon, forcing them to chase after it. In the parademon nest, Harley needles the Joker as he ponders his relationship with Bethany, reminding him what a piece of shit he was and questioning his sudden sentimentality. He explains it's because Bethany loved him even when he was a nobody, unlike his fame-driven past, and suggests Harley doesn't want to mess things up like she did with Poison Ivy. This angers her, and she angrily claims to be over it, which the Joker doesn't believe, given the screaming about it at the mere mention of the name. When they finally find the book, the Joker reflects on his true love for Bethany, prompting Harley to remember her own times with Ivy, realizing their relationship fit all the Joker's descriptions of true love. Harley encourages him not to give up on his love for Bethany. They then leave, but are seen by parademons before they can fully escape. Forced to fight them off together, the old duo defeats dozens of parademons but tires out and would have lost until Batman arrives and captures them. Batman assumes they're back together and responsible for the chaos in the city, but Harley explains the situation and their plan to free the Justice League, convincing him to summon Zatanna Zatara and drop them off at Bethany's house to reveal the real book. They went after the wrong one. After the Joker reconciles with Bethany, they go inside to have Zatanna free the Justice League. Afterward, Harley asks if the Joker will stay as a suburban dad. He says he won't change who he is and will return to crime while also caring for Bethany. He urges her to find her own love with Ivy, but Harley insists she already tried, and Ivy said no. Ivy then arrives, much to Harley's delight, only to reveal her intent to kill her. Lovers quarrel. Harley was unnerved by Ivy's mindless assault and was forced to flee and dodge. She repeatedly tried to convince Ivy to stop but was nearly killed until Kite Man intervened, saving her from Harley. In the air, Harley warned Kite Man to watch his hands as he explained that Dr. Psycho had mind-controlled Ivy. Harley then assured him that the wedding would still happen and that they'd defeat Dr. Psycho. At his apartment, Harley wanted to find a way to destroy Psycho's helmet, but Kite Man cautioned her that getting too close would allow him to control them as well. Harley examined Cyborgman's eye, wondering how he was immune to Dr. Psycho's telepathy until it suddenly blinked. She nearly destroyed it, but Kite Man stopped her, realizing it was Morse code. He translated the code as "plug me in," at which point several RCA connectors sprouted from the eye. After connecting them, Cyborgman appeared on screen and explained that he resisted Dr. Psycho's mind control with an anti-mind control device the CIA planted in his skull. While it can be recreated, the components weren't at hand, and Harley noticed the Justice League flying by to kill Ivy. When Kite Man wondered who would ever release the Justice League from their book prison, Harley smiled woodenly. Becoming impatient with Kite Man, Harley demanded that he hurry or else the person I love is gonna die. Kite Man became suspicious of this, so Harley brushed it off, and not being able to wait around any longer, took one of his kites to fly and save Ivy. Kite Man warned that she'd need training, but it didn't matter. She was able to fly perfectly on the first try. She then arrived at the battle between her old crew and the Justice League, imploring Wonder Woman to be lenient because she famed Themyscira. When Wonder Woman wouldn't listen, Harley launched herself forward and landed on her sword, driving it into her own face to cut her. Batman then called to Harley for help as he was trapped in Clayface's grip. Harley was disgusted with Clayface, frustrated that he could have turned into this all this time, but did oblige Batman by distracting Clayface long enough for Batman to escape. She then distracted Superman so that she could try to reason with Ivy, but Ivy simply slapped her away with a vine. She recovered and gave chase, but had to go up a fire escape first to get enough altitude to use the kite. Harley eventually caught up to Ivy and tried again to reason with her, but Ivy only kidnapped her and fled towards Wayne Tower. Once there, the Justice League finally caught up to Ivy, whereupon Harley began imploring them to avoid violence. Agreeing, Batman surgically removed Harley from Ivy's grasp, while Superman destroyed her plants, and Wonder Woman captured her in her lasso of truth. Harley implored that they not kill Ivy, or at the very least send her with Ivy to the Phantom Zone, but this bickering gave Ivy the chance to poison the Justice League with her pheromones, beating them. Harley watched in disgust as the Justice League fell upon each other in lust and was further unnerved when Superman propositioned her. She backed away as things began to devolve, but Ivy once again captured her, this time heading toward the Gotham Mall. Kite Man flew overhead and whistled to Harley, signaling that he was there to support her. On arrival, he put one device in her ear and gave her the other for Ivy, in case his plan to use true love to free Ivy failed. It did fail, with Kite Man being punched unconscious, at which point Dr. Psycho revealed that he knew of Harley and Ivy's affair. Although she protested that they were not lovers, Harley was faced with no choice but to fight Ivy. She nearly managed to get the device in Ivy's ear, but she dropped it out of reach while Ivy managed to get Harley in a chokehold, trying to crush her windpipe. Unable to get the device, Harley had no other option but to kiss Ivy, which successfully broke Dr. Psycho's hold long enough for Harley to put the device in her ear. Ivy then captured Dr. Psycho and Harley smashed his helmet, so Darkseid offered to give her the planet. However, Harley didn't want it, so Darkseid left and vowed to raise the planet later. Afterward, Harley begged Ivy to consider being with her, to take a leap of faith, but before Ivy had a chance to reply, Kite Man woke up and asked what was going on. Dr. Psycho then took the opportunity to exact his revenge, revealing Ivy's infidelity with Harley not only to Kite Man but to all of Gotham, by projecting Ivy's memories of them from Themyscira onto the sky. Something borrowed, something green. Harley Quinn checked herself into Arkham Asylum to deal with a personal crisis, planning to break out when she was done. The remaining members of her crew, along with Frank the Plant, invited her to Ivy and Kite Man's wedding, but she declined. Later, Two-Face approached her, claiming to have bad news about Ivy that he'd share in exchange for his freedom from Arkham. Initially, she refused, but he guilt-tripped her into agreeing. While escaping together, he revealed that Commissioner Gordon planned to raid Ivy's wedding. This time, he was truthful and fulfilled his part of the bargain honorably, though his history of lies planted a seed of doubt. Harley arrived at the wedding searching for Gordon, but got caught up in a photo shoot with the bridesmaids. She begged for their forgiveness and acceptance, taking Catwoman's unused dress to wear, but quickly resumed her search for Gordon. She accidentally ran into Kite Man, agitating him until the photographer escorted her away. Outside, she thought she saw Gordon and knocked him out with a punch, only to realize that she'd hit the wrong person, missing the real Gordon standing next to her target. Ivy, enraged, dragged Harley away and berated her. Harley managed to explain that Two-Face told her of Gordon's plan, but Ivy pointed out that Two-Face is a liar, making Harley think she was deluding herself to ruin the wedding. Ivy then asked Harley to leave. On her way out, Harley spoke briefly with Clayface, grabbed a flower, and exited. Outside, she smelled the flower and realized it was plastic, sensing something was wrong. Harley tried to return during the ceremony but was blocked by Jennifer, who punched her to the floor, giving her a view of a caterer who shouldn't have been there. She attacked him and discovered a police uniform, confirming her suspicions. When police and gas began flooding the room, Harley held her breath long enough to steal a gas mask, knocked Gordon aside with a flying kick, and used his rocket launcher to blast a hole in the roof, allowing the gas to escape and restoring everyone to consciousness. The angered villains started to attack the police officers, throwing the venue into chaos. Harley pulled Ivy and Kite Man away from the chaos of the venue, removing their handcuffs and even proposing a spontaneous wedding on the spot amidst the turmoil. To their surprise, Kite Man turned down the proposal, realizing Ivy's true feelings, and flew off, leaving Ivy and Harley behind. Yet before they could fully process this, the GCDP closed in, forcing them to hastily escape in a car. While Harley took the wheel, Ivy opened up about her long-standing self-denial and commended Harley for her personal growth. In return, Harley reiterated her love for Ivy, which Ivy reciprocated for the first time. Ecstatic, Harley nearly lost control of the car, but managed to burst through the venue through Clayface and out the other side. As they sped into the sunset, Harley and Ivy shared another kiss, embracing their newfound love. The Eat, Bang, Kill Tour. Journey to Love. Escaping from the wedding venue, Harley and Ivy found themselves pursued on the Harley Quinn highway by the GCPD under Commissioner Gordon's command. He yelled at them to stop, but they paid no heed. Harley had Ivy take the wheel while she maneuvered between police cars, disabling them one by one, recounting the events leading to their current predicament. Upon Harley's return, they utilized a plant ramp crafted by Ivy to evade the police, leaving Gordon fuming in his immobilized car. As they navigated the city, Ivy remained unusually quiet, prompting Harley to inquire about her well-being, though Ivy brushed it off. Despite Harley's attempts to pry, Dr. Quinzel appeared in the rearview mirror, warning against coercing Ivy to open up. Upon reaching Gotham Mall, Harley playfully carried Ivy over the threshold, eliciting laughter from both. Harley proudly showcased her makeshift room in a mattress store cluttered with her belongings. However, their joy was short-lived, as they discovered the wedding's public spectacle extensively covered by Tawny Young. Enraged, Ivy destroyed the TV and sought solace alone, leaving Harley concerned. Eventually, Harley found Ivy in tears in the bathroom, and though Ivy initially attributed it to a stuck zipper, Harley comforted her, helping her out of her dress. They retreated to Harley's room and made love, reaffirming their love for each other. Afterward, Harley persisted in probing Ivy's emotions, sensing her distress. Ivy reassured her, attributing it to processing the day's events. However, upon receiving a text alert that Gordon vowed to pursue them, Ivy realized they needed to flee. Harley enthusiastically proposed a road trip, suggesting hiding in the layers of Nightfall, Killer Frost, and Livewire, all arrested during the wedding, to evade the police and sow chaos. Initially hesitant, Ivy eventually agreed. They dressed and departed, with Harley retrieving Bud and Lou, heading toward their first destination, Catwoman's abode. Journey to Love Part 2. Harley and Ivy were on their way to Catwoman's place to drop off Bud and Lou. As they neared her neighborhood, Ivy voiced her suspicion of being followed, though Harley couldn't spot anything. Nonetheless, she reassured Ivy, affirming her trust in her instincts, which Ivy appreciated. Their conversation was interrupted when Ivy almost collided with a couple of elderly women, who scolded them. Harley found the scene endearing, expressing her desire for a future like theirs with Ivy. However, Ivy, anxious about the future, dismissed the notion, inadvertently hurting Harley's feelings. Harley then shifted her attention to the hyenas. Upon arriving at Selena's, Harley quickly sent her a text to announce their arrival, Ivy grew frustrated with Harley's perceived lack of manners, a sentiment echoed by Selena upon finding them at her doorstep. After Harley managed to calm the hyenas, much to her surprise, Selena begrudgingly allowed them inside. However, Harley's antics, including jumping on the furniture, further aggravated the two women. While playing with the cats, the GCPD suddenly appeared. Gordon demanded their surrender, but they refused, prompting him to throw a grenade, causing an explosion. Ivy instructed Harley and Catwoman to escape while she bought them time. However, when Ivy was shot in the arm, Harley rushed back to defend her. Using one of Catwoman's whips, she swung them to safety. With a safe distance between them and Gordon, Harley taunted him, prompting him to reveal another grenade. Before he could use it, Batman intervened, giving Harley and Ivy the opportunity to flee and join Catwoman upstairs. Ivy created a plant bridge out of the window, allowing them to escape the building. Once on the ground, they left Bud and Lou with Catwoman and drove off, with Gordon in pursuit. Batman intervened once more, realizing Gordon was going too far, and jumped on his car, enabling Harley and Ivy to drive away from Gotham. Journey to Love Part 3. Upon reaching Bloodhaven, Harley and Ivy decided to take a break at a roadside diner. Ivy emphasized the importance of maintaining a low profile to avoid drawing attention. However, Harley's attempt at discretion was thwarted when she was followed into the restroom by two women seeking their moment of fame. These women falsely claimed to the police that Harley was holding the entire restaurant hostage. Overhearing their conversation from inside a bathroom stall, Harley confronted them only to discover that Ivy had already intervened, restraining the women with vines before they could complete their call to the police. Despite Harley's insistence that she hadn't done anything wrong, Ivy scolded her for the predicament. Feeling hurt, Harley questioned Ivy's lack of trust, prompting Ivy to realize her overreaction and offer an apology. Rushing to leave before the police arrived, they received assistance from a sympathetic employee named Rain, who helped them escape through the back door. Just as they were about to depart, they encountered Nightwing, dispatched to the scene by Batman. After explaining the situation, Nightwing allowed them to proceed. Harley felt a rush of affection as Ivy used her vines to swing them through the air, but their moment was cut short when Gordon, in pursuit, cornered them, severing the vines. However, Nightwing intervened, creating a diversion that enabled Ivy and Harley to slip away. Later that evening, Harley and Ivy enjoyed a romantic dinner at an upscale restaurant, disguised with makeup to conceal their identities. Their evening was disrupted when Hush intruded, aggressively flirting with Harley despite her rejections, provoking Ivy's anger. A violent altercation ensued between Ivy and Hush as Harley recounted their day's events to another diner, JT. Managing to subdue Hush, Ivy was interrupted by the arrival of Carmine Falcone, who urged her not to waste time on him. As compensation, Falcone offered to cover their expenses, including their meal, a honeymoon suite at a hotel, and the purchase of Bloodhaven Thrill Pack, which they used to torment Hush further before resuming their romantic evening. After a satisfying night, they indulged in some intimacy on the hood of their car. Journey to Love Part 3. Harley and Ivy were indulging in a cozy moment together in their hotel suite. While enjoying breakfast, they tuned into Tawny Young's news report, where Mephitic, a self-proclaimed best poisonous villain, was causing chaos in Detroit, challenging Ivy's superiority before overpowering the heroes attempting to stop him. After the broadcast, Ivy insisted they make a detour to confront him. Harley initially assumed it was prompted by his disrespectful remarks, but she was surprised when Ivy expressed a genuine desire to help and protect people. Despite the unexpected turn of events, they set off for Detroit. Later that night, Harley and Ivy decided to pay a visit to Nightfall's residence, though Harley needed to persuade Ivy, who was apprehensive about entering uninvited. After Harley pleaded with her, Ivy relented and they spent the night there. However, the next morning, as Harley was preparing breakfast, they were interrupted by Livewire, Nightfall's girlfriend, who emerged angrily from the toaster, demanding an explanation from Harley. Despite Harley's attempts to divert the conversation and inquire about Livewire's relationship with Nightfall, Livewire's anger escalated until Ivy intervened. After explaining their presence, Ivy apologized, but Livewire, still resentful, ejected them both from the house. As they departed, Ivy vented her frustration on Harley, who was bewildered and apologetic. Ivy, needing space, gave Harley the silent treatment. They checked into another hotel where Harley was relieved that Ivy didn't request separate beds. Eventually, Harley caught Ivy's attention by revealing the whereabouts of several polluting CEOs, suggesting Ivy direct her anger toward them. Excitedly, Ivy embraced the idea and they decided to take action. Disguising themselves as hotel staff, they invited the unsuspecting employees into their room, using their clothes as disguises. Later, they attended a dinner with the CEOs, posing as waiters and serving them a poisoned dessert, resulting in their gruesome demise. After the successful mission, they hurried out of the hotel and found themselves in an alley on the brink of sharing a kiss when they were interrupted by Vixen's sudden appearance. Exposing their disguises, Vixen initiated a fight, tearing off Harley's wig. Harley attempted to engage Vixen but was thrown across the street by a powerful kick, saved only by Ivy's swift intervention with her vines. In an effort to end the altercation swiftly, Ivy tried to use her pheromones on Vixen, but they proved ineffective, prolonging the fight. Suddenly, a horde of wild animals rushed in, influenced by a combination of Ivy's pheromones and Vixen's animal spirits, creating a chaotic scene. Vixen summoned her skunk spirit, enveloping the area in a foul-smelling spray, prompting Ivy and Harley to make their escape with Ivy's vines, thoroughly doused but intact. Journey to Love Part 5. Observing from a safe distance, Harley vented her frustration, vowing to take revenge on Vixen for subjecting them to the unpleasant odor. However, Ivy managed to calm her down, persuading her to let go of her anger and suggesting they return to the hotel for a bath. Utilizing her abilities, Ivy transported them back to their accommodation, where they proceeded to indulge in a bath together. While assisting each other with their cleanliness, Ivy began expressing her concerns, proposing the idea of leaving. Harley, however, reminded her that was still one CEO left to deal with. Eventually, Harley reached her breaking point, confronting Ivy about her recent behavior and recounting the instances where Ivy had berated her throughout their journey. Urging Ivy to confide in her, Harley demanded to know what was troubling her. Although Ivy attempted to dismiss Harley's concerns, Harley grew increasingly agitated, asserting that she couldn't tolerate Ivy's current demeanor and storming off into the Black Cat Lounge. Before departing, Harley left a note for Ivy expressing her love and encouraging her to open up to someone, then proceeded to get dressed for her outing. Upon arriving at the strip club, Harley attempted to bypass the line, only to be halted by a bouncer who feigned ignorance of her identity. Despite her frustration, Harley managed to restrain herself from lashing out at him. Once inside, she commandeered a table near the stage, admiring the performances. Engaging in a dance with a stripper named Peaches, Harley found herself distracted by thoughts of her conflict with Ivy, wishing Ivy were by her side. Deciding to return to Ivy, she was intercepted at the exit by the bouncer, who revealed his awareness of her true identity and blocked her exit. Unfazed by his intimidation tactics and the arrival of his cohorts, Harley eagerly embraced the ensuing brawl, effortlessly overpowering them. However, her triumph was short-lived as Mephitic made his entrance, emitting a foul odor that incapacitated Harley, rendering her unconscious on the spot. Journey to Love Part 6. Harley found herself imprisoned in a warehouse by Mephitic, who commenced tormenting her with their noxious aroma after she delivered several snide remarks. Despite the tears brought on by the stench, Harley maintained a defiant demeanor, persisting with her sarcastic comments, prompting Mephitic to turn around and jot down notes about her. Ordering his enslaved followers to secure her to a table, Mephitic intended to conduct experiments to discern why she resisted his mind control. As his minions approached with tubes, Harley attempted to buy time by engaging them in conversation. After chaining Harley back to the wall for further experimentation, Mephitic used tubes to establish a connection between her and his followers. Despite feeling the effects after several rounds, Harley endeavored to maintain her composure. Suddenly, she spotted a small flower, and moments later, Ivy blasted a hole in the wall, arriving with an army of flora that attacked the minions. Stepping between Harley and Mephitic, Ivy demanded her release, but Mephitic remained unfazed by her threats. Rushing toward Harley, Ivy expressed her remorse and professed her love before sharing a passionate kiss. Tearfully, Harley interpreted it as a farewell kiss before Ivy shielded her with vegetation, while Harley pleaded with her not to face the danger alone. As hope dwindled, Livewire, Vixen, and Zatanna arrived in succession, confronting Mephitic in battle. Ivy freed Harley, who admonished her angrily never to subject her to such peril again. Together, they watched as Zatanna used her magic to neutralize Mephitic, reverting them to their human form, much to Harley's derision. After the skirmish, Vixen decided against turning in Ivy and Harley for the CEO's deaths, asserting that they owed her a debt. Subsequently, Jim Gordon and Tawny Young arrived at the scene, with Tawny attempting to interview the pair while Gordon moved to apprehend Harley. However, Livewire provided a distraction, allowing Harley and Ivy to slip away. Later, as they sat in their car, Harley and Ivy set their sights on their next destination, Central City. Season 3. Harlivy. Harley and Ivy had settled comfortably into the Fortress of Solitude, evading Commissioner Gordon and indulging in a porn parody starring themselves, marveling at the fact that only 2 weeks had passed since they became a couple. Suddenly, a hologram of Superman's deceased father materialized, scolding them for their presence and their choice of entertainment. He summoned Superman, who appeared in his stead. In response, Harley blasted a hole in the wall and they made their way toward Wonder Woman's invisible jet. When Ivy inquired about their next move, Harley unveiled what she had dubbed the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour, a plan involving global travel, theft, heists, defrauding Gordon, intimate encounters, and sunbathing. Back on the jet after successfully pilfering Buckingham Palace, Ivy expressed gratitude to Harley for the enjoyable trip, though Harley insisted on using its full name. However, Ivy's demeanor disappointed Harley when she didn't react as excitedly as expected to Harley's 2-week anniversary gift, the kidnapped Queen Elizabeth II. Ivy reassured her appreciation, but fretted about potential repercussions. As the British Air Force closed in, they snapped a few photos with the Queen before Harley ejected her from the jet, despite the Queen's insistence on possessing an invisible parachute. Days later, Harley surprised Ivy for their 16th day anniversary by blindfolding her and transporting her to Eden, a place Ivy had attempted to terraform with prehistoric plants. Although Ivy initially saw it as a failure, Harley encouraged her, and Ivy agreed to explore. While Ivy grew to enjoy the tranquility, Harley grew restless, pretending to appreciate the solitude until they received a call from King Shark and Clayface, requesting assistance to escape Arkham Asylum. Suspecting Gordon's involvement, Ivy and Harley hired adult film stars resembling them to act as decoys, buying them time to infiltrate Arkham and reunite with their allies. During their escape, Harley confronted a woman who insulted Ivy, leading to Harley secretly kidnapping her. After dropping off Clayface and King Shark, Harley affirmed her desire to stay with Ivy. Back in Eden, Harley revealed she had kidnapped Amanda Waller, intending to torture her for disrespecting Ivy. Ivy was displeased, realizing Waller's identity and affiliation with the Suicide Squad. Unfazed, Harley continued to threaten Waller until Plastique, Waller's ally, arrived with explosives hidden in her coat. They all laughed at Plastique's threat, with Harley noting her absence from the squad's promotional image. A scuffle ensued, prompting Harley to rue her decision to ditch all her weapons. Ivy passed Harley a pilfered spiral to use in the fray, although she hesitated momentarily, recalling that it had been a gift to Ivy for their 3-day anniversary. After inadvertently wrecking some prized flowers, Ivy concluded the skirmish by ensnaring Plastique with her vines. But before Harley could bludgeon her with the stolen teapot, Plastique detonated herself, drenching Harley and Ivy in gore. Amidst the settling dust, they surveyed the now decimated surroundings. Harley expressed remorse for instigating the chaos, but Ivy contended that Eden was destined for failure regardless, and that her dream of terraforming Gotham would never come to fruition. Harley dismissed this as nonsense, affirming they could accomplish it together. Despite Ivy's initial resistance, Harley pledged her unwavering support and belief in her. Eventually, Ivy relented, and they sealed their agreement with a kiss as Harley commemorated their 19-day anniversary. There's no Ivy in Team. Harley and Ivy returned to Gotham City on the same bus as Nightwing. Harley pushed him aside, loudly announcing their return before commandeering his car. They later burst through the wall of Gotham Mall, where they reunited with Clayface, Frank the Plant, and King Shark. Despite Frank's complaints about their Paris postcard, Harley hyped up Ivy's new plan so much that Ivy began to feel self-conscious and quickly excused herself to unpack. Later, the crew gathered to hear Ivy's plan presented as a slideshow, detailing their roles in the upcoming heist. Ivy explained that they needed to steal a prehistoric mosquito specimen from the Gotham Natural History Museum to fulfill her plan of supercharging dead plant matter to overtake the city. As Ivy concluded her presentation, Bane barged in, demanding the return of his wedding gift. Despite their protestations of innocence, the crew enjoyed pasta as Bane stormed off. As they prepared for the heist, Ivy's plan faltered at the museum when they were spotted by guards she hadn't anticipated. As they hid from gunfire, Ivy instructed the crew to run while she used her vines to reach the exhibit with the mosquito. They found Ivy, overwhelmed her with questions, and she gagged them with vines before carrying them out of the building. Back at the mall, Harley and the crew, worse for wear, watched as Ivy proclaimed the heist a success. They witnessed a resurrected dandelion emerge from a crack in the concrete, only for it to mutate and perish in agony. Finding Ivy hiding in a giant flower, Harley attempted to cheer her up. Ivy decided to work on her plan alone, leaving Harley shocked and hurt as she retreated back into her flower. Harley vented her frustrations to the rest of the crew about Ivy shutting her out. She expressed her wish to teach Ivy the importance of teamwork. Frank then switched the TV to a commercial for an escape room, sparking an idea in Harley's mind. She arranged for Clayface to lure Ivy to the escape room under false pretenses, claiming that Harley had been abducted. There, Harley revealed the truth and Ivy reluctantly agreed to participate, as Harley had already forged her signature on the release form. They were soon joined by Nelvin, who, due to the discounted rate for not booking a private group, was impaled and killed by a metal rod, shocking the rest of the crew. Suddenly, the Riddler appeared on a TV screen, informing them that they had 45 minutes to solve the room's puzzle or face being squashed to death, with the promise of a group photo and personalized mug if they succeed. The crew scrambled to find a way out, wrecking the room in their frantic search. Harley's attempts to reassure Ivy in her leadership qualities prompted Ivy to snap and tell her to stop hyping her up, admitting she was not a good leader. As Ivy angrily struck a candlestick, the rooms began to spin and shift, separating Harley from the group, leaving her in a room with Batgirl. They bonded over the impressive production value of the place, with Batgirl revealing she had also brought her team, the Bat family, to foster camaraderie, agreeing the catchy commercial had lured them in. After Ivy and Nightwing solved their puzzle, the rooms returned to normal, and Harley and Ivy reunited in each other's arms. Ivy expressed her astonishment at Harley finding a place that allowed her to confront her exact issue of embracing failure to win, although Harley didn't fully grasp the concept. They were interrupted by King Shark's panicked screams about impending death, but just as Ivy began to declare she would find a way out, Batman solved the puzzle, saving them all. Back at home, Harley supported Ivy as she made another attempt at the serum. Although it initially seemed successful, the revived flower soon melted into goo, exploding onto Frank and causing the building to shake. They escaped unscathed as the building collapsed, witnessing Frank emerge from the rubble with an altered glowing body, flying into the air. The 83rd Annual Villy Awards. Following the destruction of the mall, Harley and her crew relocated to Selina's apartment, striking up a deal to care for her cats. Harley discovered that she and Ivy had been nominated for Best Couple at the 83rd Annual Villy Awards, and after much persuasion, convinced Ivy to attend. While there, Harley encountered Riddler and his partner Clock King, who informed her that those seeking awards often grease the wheels to win. Motivated by this, Harley attempted to steal the names of the winners from the award show's accountant, who turned out to be a lethal android, leading to a confrontation. Despite Harley defeating the android, it swallowed the envelope containing the best couple's name before shutting down. Kite Man arrived to console Harley, and their conversation about life changes led her to realize that Ivy's love was a prize in itself. Reuniting with Ivy, she resolved to be more supportive of Harley after a discussion with Kite Man's new girlfriend, Golden Glider. A thief, a mole, an orgy. As Ivy perfects her serum for Frank's pollen transformation, she's constantly interrupted by Harley and the crew's antics. Amidst their hijinks, Ivy fabricates texts from Catwoman to ban the use of the house's stolen instruments, much to Harley's frustration. Despite Gotham's mayoral election turmoil, Harley's antics continue, culminating in her smashing all the security cameras. Later, Ivy celebrates her serum success, but returns home to find Frank missing and the lab ransacked. Suspecting foul play, they seek help from the Court of Owls. Harley and Ivy attend a bizarre party, hoping to uncover clues about Frank. Harley confronts Catwoman about the toilet ban, leading to revelations about Ivy's past with Catwoman. Their argument escalates amidst the party's chaos, leaving Harley hurt and Ivy regretful. Amidst the frenzy, Ivy apologizes to Harley, revealing her past regrets with Catwoman and affirming her commitment to Harley. Their reconciliation is interrupted by an accidental switch-on, ruining the orgy. As they leave, Harley insists on honesty, but Ivy reminds her of Frank's disappearance and setting the stage for their next adventure. It's a Swamp Thing. Ivy struggles to locate Frank through the Green Network and reluctantly entertains Nora Freeze, who arrives with her driver in a high state. Meanwhile, Selina rejects Bruce's advances, leaving him disappointed. Focused on finding Frank, Ivy mentions Swamp Thing as a potential ally. Nora proposes freezing Swamp Thing for leverage, and they head to New Orleans, leaving King Shark to care for Selina's cats. In New Orleans, Constantine challenges Ivy to a drinking contest for directions to Swamp Thing. Nora outdrinks them all and reaches Swamp Thing alone. Harley and Ivy follow, meeting Swamp Thing in his hut. Alfred intervenes as Bruce becomes increasingly erratic, eventually arranging a therapy session for Bruce and Selina with Music Meister. Nora's flirtation with Swamp Thing distracts her from Ivy's mission. A storm erupts when Swamp Thing learns the truth, but Ivy's vulnerability calms him. Nora leaves, and Swamp Thing encourages Ivy to embrace her connection to the Green. Ivy discovers Bruce has taken Frank, prompting a confrontation between the heartbroken Bruce and Ivy in his lab. Joker, the killing vote. Joker faces tormenting nightmares of a PTA mom, Debbie Shirley, whom he deems his greatest enemy yet. His stepchildren, Benicio and Sophia, miss out on a school program due to Debbie's influence. Meanwhile, Gordon struggles in his mayoral campaign, lacking a clear platform. Two-Face advises him to win through ambiguity. Joker enters the mayoral race, advocating policies like bilingual education and healthcare. As Joker gains support, Two-Face holds Benicio hostage, manipulating Joker and Gordon. At an abandoned amusement park, Gordon saves Joker and Benicio, realizing Joker's changed nature. Joker decides to dismantle the police department if elected mayor. Harley and Ivy return to Gotham, surprised by Joker's political rise. Joker revels in his victory, taunting Debbie about his newfound power. Another Sharkley adventure. Ivy's health deteriorates from green access, unable to locate Frank. Harley plans to attend Bruce's gala alone. Batgirl seeks Harley's friendship, but Harley rebuffs her. At the gala, they're captured by Mad Hatter, who aims to control minds with tech hats. Harley rescues Batgirl, proving a gray morality. Harley subdues Mad Hatter, acknowledging a budding friendship with Batgirl before leaving. Harley, disguised as Selina, abducts Bruce from the gala. Returning to Selina's, Ivy snaps out of a green-induced trance. Meanwhile, King Shark faces family drama as he learns his brother plans to sell their kingdom to Ocean Master. King intervenes, but tragically kills his brother during their battle over the kingdom's fate. Batman Begins Forever. Harley and Ivy interrogate Bruce Wayne to find Frank's whereabouts. Dr. Psycho helps them access Bruce's memories. Inside his mind, they encounter a loop of his parents' murder. Ivy blames Psycho for the lack of progress. Meanwhile, Harley protects a young Bruce in the memory. Separated from the group, she navigates through Bruce's memories and learns about his Batman training. Outside, Ivy anxiously waits for Harley's return while King Shark distracts himself with video games. Harley finds herself in a memory of capturing Robin with the Joker. In the real world, the Bat family incapacitates Ivy, Psycho, and Clayface. In the mindscape, adult Batman helps Harley and young Bruce Wayne fight against the Joker and past Harley. They escape into a happier memory of Wayne Manor's Christmas before the tragedy. Young Bruce confesses his plan to use Frank's serum to resurrect his parents. Joe Chill, representing adult Bruce's guilt, opposes Harley's interference. Harley promises young Bruce confidentially and confronts adult Bruce in the real world. Harley wakes up with her captured crew. Ivy is shocked by Bruce's intentions to resurrect his parents. Despite Harley's efforts to counsel him, Bruce proceeds with his plan, unleashing a monstrous outcome. Climax at Jazzapajizza. Nightwing and Batgirl release Harley's crew after Bruce introduces his zombified parents. Frank reveals that his serum caused widespread zombie chaos. Dr. Psycho turns into a tree after getting zombie vomit on him. Ivy plans to control the zombies using the green. Harley joins Nightwing and Batgirl to manage the zombie hordes. Swamp Thing empowers Ivy to control the zombies, ignoring Harley's advice. King Shark encounters Bruce and the zombie Waynes at Wayne Manor. Ivy and the zombies attack a festival in Gotham's Central Park, and Harley saves Bane from a zombie attack, but starts turning into one herself. Bruce decides to kill his zombie parents to end the chaos. Ivy surrenders her powers to save Harley, restoring everyone affected by the zombies. Ivy mourns the destruction caused by the chaos. The Horse and the Sparrow. Ivy confronts Harley about her thwarted terraforming plan and later confides in her about Lex Luthor's offer to lead the Legion of Doom. Meanwhile, Bruce decides to confront his trauma and accepts an invitation to a movie premiere. Clayface, disguised as Billy Bob Thornton, attends the premiere where Joker is captured by Harley and Ivy. Harley tries to counsel Bruce but ultimately leaves. Joker manipulates Ivy into questioning Harley's commitment. Harley admits her fear of change but vows to support Ivy. At the premiere, Bruce is arrested, but he embraces the consequences. Later, he finds Selina has returned Martha's necklace, signifying a new beginning. Harley realizes her need for self-determination and discusses her growth with Ivy. Finally, she is welcomed into the Bat family, symbolizing her evolution. Harley Quinn, a very problematic Valentine's Day special. Harley eagerly plans a low-key Valentine's Day with Ivy, who reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Clayface anticipates a date but is warned by Ivy about potential catfishing. At the Hall of Doom, Bane laments his loneliness while Riddler complains about dating app grammar. Harley surprises Ivy with a vegan meal at Mama Macaroni, but armed goons interrupt, seeking a recipe. Pursuing them, Ivy unleashes her vines, inadvertently killing the oil baron. However, the recipe is revealed to be a Valentine's card from Harley, orchestrated as a surprise. Harley questions Ivy's enjoyment of the day, seeking validation. Clayface's date turns into a robbery attempt by Captain Boomerang, ending in comic mishaps. Harley, frustrated by Ivy's response, uses Wonder Woman's lasso of truth to learn Ivy's true feelings about Valentine's Day. Bane encounters a dominatrix named Betty, mistaking him for a fellow BDSM enthusiast. After an eventful night, Bane feels insecure about his size. Seeking to impress Ivy, Harley buys a spell from Etrigan for a passionate night. However, the spell causes an unexpected citywide orgy. Meanwhile, Clayface's lower half becomes sentient and forms a bond with him. Bane's attempt to enhance his size leads to unintended consequences, turning him into a giant wreaking havoc on Gotham. Clayface's butt finds independence, leading to an emotional separation. Harley and Ivy attempt to reason with Bane, enlisting Clayface's help. They inadvertently turn Bane off with grammatical errors, while Betty impresses him with proper grammar. As Harley reflects on her efforts to make the day special, Ivy recounts a cherished memory of their time in Arkham, emphasizing their deep connection. The episode ends with various couples offering testimonials on romance, concluding with Harley and Ivy's heartfelt message. Season 4. Gotham's Hottest Hotties. Harley and Ivy swap lunches on their first day at new jobs, with Harley battling guards to deliver Ivy's lunch while Ivy commits a robbery to attract Harley's attention. Ivy faces disrespect from male colleagues at the Hall of Doom, where Lex Luthor appoints her CEO. Meanwhile, Harley encounters Professor Pig while killing time before meeting the Bat family at the Batcave. They investigate a series of mutilation murders, leading Harley to unsuccessfully attempt to extract information from Ivy through roleplay. Harley seeks clues from villains, but King Shark informs her villains won't help a hero. King Shark, meanwhile, learns his wife is pregnant with 9 shark babies and realizes he needs a job. Ivy struggles with insubordination from her colleagues until she meets Nora Freeze, who encourages her to assert her authority. Ivy then asserts control by incinerating planning papers and defeating dissenters with her plant powers. Harley stages a photo shoot to lure out Pig, who kidnaps Nightwing. In the ensuing confrontation, Harley kills Pig, shocking Batgirl and Nightwing. As Ivy asserts her leadership, a mysterious woman observes the fallout, noting Ivy's impact on LexCorp and Wayne Enterprises. B.I.T.C.H. At a networking event for evil businesswomen, Ivy meets Talia and learns from Harley that Talia is also a conservator of Wayne Enterprises. Talia unknowingly helps Ivy with her plan to replace Gotham's male trees with female trees, inadvertently aiding Ivy in ruining Wayne Pharmaceuticals, which was Ivy's true objective. Despite initial tension, they develop mutual respect for each other's intellect and refined views on villainy. Meanwhile, as punishment for breaking the Bat family's no-killing rule, Harley is demoted to Alfred's assistant. Alfred teaches her the B.I.T.C.H technique: breathe, identify the problem, T-break, consider your options, handle it, which she finds useful for decisive thinking. After stopping Alfred from robbing a bank in front of the Bat family, she gains their respect and earns her own Bat outfit, while Alfred is arrested. Hoping to reunite with Bruce in Blackgate Penitentiary, Alfred is surprised to learn he's being sent to Arkham for rehabilitation instead. Icons only. Harley and Ivy head to Las Vegas for some quality time together and to watch Clayface's new show, only to find out that the tickets are all sold out. Harley, realizing her hero reputation makes her a pariah in the villain community, decides to create a public identity for herself named Hargrit, inspired by Bruce being a DJ in prison. She enjoys her time with Ivy as Hargrit until Clayface foils their attempt to steal tickets for his show as revenge for Ivy not keeping in touch with him, leading to a fight. The fight is interrupted by Tabitha going into labor. After she gives birth to 9 shark babies, she agrees to co-parent with King Shark, who chooses Harley and Ivy as the children's godparents. Ivy later admits she feared losing common interests with Harley due to their different jobs, while Harley announces she will move in with the Bat family to explore her hero self. Although saddened, Ivy fully supports Harley's decision. The first person to come back from a business conference without chlamydia. Ivy attends Malcon, a supervillain convention on the moon, expecting to hold a panel, but Luthor only wants her to give an opening speech for his presentation. On Talia's advice, she decides to build new business connections anyway, impressing many villains including Steppenwolf with her ideas. During Luthor's presentation, he realizes everyone is more interested in Ivy than him, which frustrates him into calling off the convention and destroying his lunar base. Meanwhile, due to Talia cutting the Bat family's budget, Harley teaches them how to fight without weapons and rents out Wayne Manor to Scandinavian tourists for extra income. When they discover the tourists' plan to rob the manor, they successfully use Harley's teachings to stop them. After Harley sells some of Ivy's belongings online, exploiting Ivy's newfound fame, the Bat family can repurchase their equipment. However, when they check the Batcave security footage, they miss the part showing Harley sleepwalking and wreaking havoc in the manor at night. Getting ice dick, don't wait up. Harley undergoes LASIK surgery performed by Supergirl to improve her efficiency in night missions. She calls Barbara for a ride, but is instead met by Barbara's roommate, Alicia Yo, who found Barbara's phone. Nightwing informs Harley that Barbara is missing but refuses her help in finding her due to his mistrust. Meanwhile, Luthor assigns his PR team, the Johns, to manage Ivy's career, convincing her to increase her social media activity to gain more followers. Consequently, Ivy begins to neglect her relationship with Harley and her mentees, Tara, Volcana, and Tefe Holland. Harley discovers Barbara's location in the mountains and goes there with Alicia to save her, only to realize that Barbara went there to bring her mother home from their family cabin after Gordon rushed back to Gotham to accept a security job at the Legion of Doom. Harley laments that she gave up everything from her previous life to join the Bat family, but still does not feel accepted. Barbara reassures her that it takes time. Later, they find Nightwing's dead body, which shocks them both. Metamorphosis. Following Nightwing's funeral, Harley, Batgirl, and Robin split up to reduce their chances of also being targeted. Returning to Catwoman's apartment, Harley learns about her sleepwalking from Frank, who witnessed it. Lucius locates Nightwing's tracker at the Legion of Doom's headquarters, leading Barbara to suspect Ivy's behind the murder, which Harley refuses to believe. The tracker is later revealed to have been found by Gordon in a parking garage, but has become untraceable for further investigation. Meanwhile, Ivy realizes the Johns are manipulating her public image and decides to take them down with the help of Tara, Volcana, and Tefe. She acts publicly disturbing at a children's beauty pageant she's hosting, purposely angering the Johns, who then morph into one giant individual and try to destroy Ivy. Using their combined abilities, Ivy and her mentees defeat and kill the Johns. Afterward, the Joker arrives at the Legion of Doom, announcing his return to villainy and claiming that he is Nightwing's killer, much to Barbara's anger. While the Legionnaires celebrate him, a shocked Harley notices an alternate version of herself winking at her from the crowd. The most culturally impactful film franchise of all time. The episode begins with Harley distressed after seeing a duplicate of herself at the Legion of Doom party. She confronts Gordon for security footage but finds no answers. Meanwhile, Ivy plans to steal a time sphere for decoration. Harley tries to talk to Batgirl about Nightwing's murder but is rebuffed. Batgirl mentions a prior encounter with Harley that Harley doesn't remember. Joker hosts a poker game with other villains, relishing his newfound notoriety. At the L.O.D. reception, Harley spots Ivy's time sphere heist and joins the fray, annoying Ivy. Despite Ivy's reassurances, Harley decides to use the time sphere to visit a future Ivy. They emerge in an apocalyptic wasteland, captured by rebels. The rebels agree to help Harley and Ivy return if they aid in toppling Gotham's tyrant, Robin. To their surprise, the rebel leader is their daughter, Neytiri. In the present, Batgirl interrupts Joker's podcast, proving his innocence in Nightwing's murder. In the future, Neytiri leads the mission to infiltrate Robin's tower. However, they discover Robin collects frozen superheroes and villains. Neytiri reveals her upbringing by Cheryl and blames Harley and Ivy's communication breakdown for the apocalypse. As Robin prepares to freeze them, Harley confesses her troubles to Ivy. They escape with King Baby's help. King Baby urges them to stop Lex Luthor from causing the apocalypse. Returning to 2023, Harley and Ivy realize they've arrived too late, witnessing the apocalypse's onset. Il Buffon. Bane travels to Italy to impress Nora by fixing Ivy's broken pasta maker, but learns that the model is discontinued. Desperate, he seeks out an elderly Italian woman who teaches him to make pasta by hand, helping him overcome his insecurity. Grateful, he gets her tickets to Clayface's show as she is a big fan. Meanwhile, Luthor plans to thicken the ozone layer, but finds the laser he used on the moon too short to reach Earth's atmosphere. He decides to use Volcana's powers instead. Disgusted, Nora refuses to allow this, prompting Luthor to trap her, Volcana, King Shark, and Captain Cold inside the Legion of Doom's headquarters. When he tries to gas them out, they create an explosion to escape. However, the heat from the explosion enhances the atmosphere enough for Luthor to use his laser and block out the sun. Consequently, Gotham's society collapses into chaos within 6 days. When Harley and Ivy return from the future, the time sphere is destroyed, and they realize Luthor's goal was to render Superman powerless. Potato-based cloning incident. Harley and Ivy strategize in Catwoman's apartment. Another Harley, a clone made from a mix of Harley's DNA and a baked potato, appears, leading to confusion. Ivy confronts Lex at LexCorp, but her powers are weakened without sunlight. Meanwhile, the two Harleys bond, with clone Harley filling in for the original during her absence. They join forces with Ivy, scaling the LexCorp building to sway the board against Lex. Ivy charms the board members, including Riddler and Clock King, but needs one more vote from Clegg, who's at a celebrity golf tournament. Back at the apartment, Harley learns from clone Harley that she killed Nightwing while sleepwalking. Horrified, she consults Dr. Psycho, who confirms her guilt. Ivy, on the other hand, struggles to impress Clegg at the tournament and accidentally kills him, complicating her plans. Harley enlists Flash to turn back time to prevent Clegg's death, but Ivy's attempts fail, leading to a disastrous result. Bane, under Clayface's influence, assaults Ivy on camera, jeopardizing her position. Meanwhile, clone Harley turns vigilante, leading to a showdown with Harley and Batgirl. As Lex's fate hangs in the balance with a tied vote, Clegg's widow swings the decision in Ivy's favor. However, the victory feels hollow to Ivy. Batgirl's serious talk with Harley is interrupted by clone Harley's attack, resulting in her demise. Harley decides to leave the Bat family, but Joker's sudden appearance shatters the moment, leaving Batgirl wounded in Harley's arms. Killer's block. Harley confronts Bethany to capture Joker, who shot Batgirl. Reluctantly, Bethany hands Joker over to protect her children, Sophia and Benicio. Harley drags Joker out during a rainstorm. At the hospital, Harley reunites with Barbara, who miraculously survived but is now paralyzed. Barbara rejects Harley's presence but spots Gordon, distraught and vengeful. Meanwhile, Ivy's corporate victory is overshadowed by Lex's escape to the moon. Disillusioned, Ivy clashes with the evil women in Business Collective, who prioritize profit over change. They celebrate Lex's birthday on the moon, much to Ivy's dismay. There, Harley encounters a weakened Superman behind a kryptonite force field. At Lex's party, Ivy confronts him, but he overpowers her with stolen powers, alienating her allies. Locked away, Harley and Ivy resolve to stop playing by the rules. They drive a moon truck to Lex's Earthsaver, hacking his vehicle with Barbara's help. They destroy villain-run businesses and share a moment of solidarity. Steppenwolf arrives to take Lex, while Harley rescues Superman from the collapsing moon base. Later, Alfred finds Bruce leaving Blackgate early, leaving Alfred stranded. Gordon finds Joker, eager to employ A24-inspired torture methods. Superman restores the moon, while Harley, Ivy, Barbara, and Catwoman form the Gotham City Sirens to investigate Nightwing's disappearance. Unbeknownst to them, Talia revives Nightwing, setting the stage for a sinister plot. And that, my friends, is the life of Harley Quinn. For now. What did you think? Did we hit all the important details? What is your favorite Harley Quinn moment? Your favorite quote? Your favorite exchange between Harley and Ivy? Make sure you let me know down in the comments and subscribe for more like this. Thanks for watching, and remember, Frederator loves you.